Welcome to Stories to D4. I'm Matthew, and tonight I have the luxury of being your Dungeon Master. I don't have a lot of announcements here tonight because I really want to jump into the game. We've been having a couple weeks now of spooks and horrors in the city of Dunsmith, and my players have been planning their death and potential future characters, I guess, for over a month now. As a Dungeon Master, preparing these sort of sessions is some of the most fun because there's a sandbox element to it. In D&D, as a GM, there's different kinds of play you can have. A dungeon crawl being one of the most famous and, well-beloved forms of Dungeons and Dragons, where you go room through room. You can plot out where your players are going to go. Sure, they might take the eastern wing before the western, but roughly you can predict they'll encounter most of what's in that area. With stories in a sandbox like we are here in Dunsmith, we have an area that I've developed, but the methods that my players will go to solve the problems, what groups they will align themselves with, or that they'll roll initiative against, aren't all determined beforehand in the same way. And so it's really exciting to spend some time, give some TLC to the city of Dunsmith. And so I want to bring this out to my players who are about to go wreak havoc in that city. Hi, friends. How have you all been?
Doing good.
Pretty good.
I like how we have the spooky music going on here, because Alex, our man in the chair back there, knows things are not bright and shining. We're not the Tournament of Blades. We're not here to fight for glory and honor necessarily.
I mean, the Tournament of Blades ended poorly, too.
I was just saying, the Tournament of Blades kind of ended in doom and gloom as well. Yeah. But also, every time we've come into this room on the Fridays, it's like October here.
It's full. We had
spooky
Friday
time.
the 13th was the last one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was excellent. I hope we lived up to that somewhat.
Yeah.
You guys fought a mind flayer trapped in a wizard's trap surrounded by blood circles, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
There was a haunted child who plagued Mycelia. Bad things are going on. Something
Lots of
to
bad
miss.
things. We purposely went to a bad place.
Yeah.
Haunted Doll Watch, 24/7.
Yeah, if I say the word porcelain doll, I think all
Run.
of you will I cast fireball.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the witch that we talked to is like a hag / witch.
A Baba Yaga.
I think she's like got two personalities in her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she certainly was switching. Her tone and her speech patterns were shifting between the meek wood elf that you knew in the past, who was kind and polite, and a sort of strange adversarial figure. So who knows? She could have just been hungry. It's hard to tell.
It's hard when you're hangry.
It gets me bad.
Stickers.
There's not a good one for thirsty angry, but I get thirsty stupid. It's real bad if I don't have water with me.
I get that.
So anyway, any before I have the rest of my announcements and all my intros and stuff, anyone have any big nerdy plans going on? Exciting things going on in the D&D world or something else? Legion,
Sunday.
we do have a Star Wars Legion event, and one of our players is getting older. that good for you, Tony?
Yeah, it's good enough.
Aging, cool.
Aging. Slowly deteriorating from the inside out.
Before I do my recap, I actually want to take a quick moment and shout out some absolutely incredibly talented folks over at Kobold Press. We have been using this book, the Tome of Beasts 1 and 2. We've used on a couple of our campaigns in the past, though they haven't come up many times in this campaign yet. Tonight, I've prepared several encounters that, should you run into them, will be variants, reflavorings, and other appreciations of all the monsters in this book.
Fun.
So if you're a GM and you want something a little out of the ordinary, you want to traipse beyond the boundaries of the monster manual, highly recommend these. And I got mine at my local game store. So, I'm so sorry. This is the Tome of Beasts and the Tome of Beasts 2. I highly recommend them. They're great. We're not sponsored, but I just like them a whole bunch. So check them out.
Nice.
They have so many types of dragons in there. Just there's like boreal dragon.
It's like a book was written for you.
They've got sandworm dragon things.
I'd love
So
to fight
great.
that.
Great dragons.
Crate dragons. What was Yeah, I would just reflavor it
Space
for Star Wars.
whales.
Breath of the Wild, was it Muldroga?
Yeah, Molduga.
Molduga. They just there's a dragon version of that, and it looks fantastic. And I'd love to put it into
Bomb.
whenever we have a sand encounter. I want to throw one in there. So you've been warned for this campaign, or maybe a different one.
Cool.
Okay.
Do we have to like look out for vibrations like in Dune? Oh,
That is exactly right.
Cool.
You have to take a chicken from Hyrule Village, and it'll take care of everything for you.
You must carry
Mind the gap.
cuckoo up the mountain. All right. Well, thank you guys, as always, for coming and playing some game. Next week, we do have a very special session. We have a dwarven one-shot. We're going to visit Gordurin, a long-abandoned dwarven kingdom. And we've built an expeditionary party who hopes to reclaim the ruins and find out what really happened in that mountain. And that'll be the start of that next week. Should be fun, even if you're not cut up on the main campaign here. It's all going to be self-contained. You don't have to worry about, you've missed a couple of weeks. Not a problem at all. And we'll have more info on that on our Discord and over on Twitter, both of which you should come and join. You have anything else for me, Clola?
Quick corner?
Crit Corner. You want to save Crit Corner for Anna Dunsmith, or do you? Last time you said we didn't have enough crits yet. How are you feeling this week, Connor?
I think there's some spicy rolls last.
Well, there was a lot of poor rolls last time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm all
spicy.
for this.
I guess spicy and
You could stop looking
Yeah.
at me because I know I rolled that once.
everybody rolled in that one.
Yeah.
At least one, that one.
Fake news. Continue.
Okay, I'll start with the 20s because everybody likes 20s. Mr. DM, sir, you rolled 1 natural 20.
One. Okay, it was modest.
And Ralnor / Ismini / Victoria rolled 2 natural 20s last session.
Wow.
I rolled a lot of dice last session.
Okay. Would
Rolling
have been
off,
more if I didn't have you stop attacking with Ralnor.
kind of piggybacking off of that, you had 2 natural 1s.
That's great.
Two now once.
You also had 2 natural 1s over there.
Gotta keep my record from last
You
year.
had 1.
One for Amanda.
You had 1. I had 2 natural 1s as well.
Oh, okay. I was bracing myself for a 4 to jump out. All right, so we're all rolling some dice. We're doing just fine.
Yeah,
It's going to be a good day.
Every time Ralph
You evened out. You're 50-50.
Every time
The
Ralph
rest of us suck.
he rolls 3 dice on attack. Because it's his 3 attacks every turn.
Yeah.
So
So there is one.
I roll 2 attacks every turn.
There is one
Ralph
minor.
plus me is a lot of dice to roll.
Yeah.
We have had one minor change to our house rules, table rules, the customizations we've done in 5e. As you know, we use the optional flanking rule from the Dungeon Master's Guide, DMG. We are going to be, from this point on, limiting it to creatures of large size or smaller, with an asterisk for special circumstances. So if you do something incredible, perhaps you can manage it on larger creatures. But it's just, we're trying, as we've gone up in levels, as you become more powerful, I want to give other abilities the time to shine for that advantage. I do love it in medium and large size combats. I think it's very appropriate. Don't worry, you can still go ahead and flank Tavrith just fine. I won't take that away from you.
Yes.
It's fine that I had him back here. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's good that you had that prepared.
I instantly panicked and I also went, I don't want to get that close to Tabrith. Maybe I should have gone more spellcasty.
Just banish
Then
him.
maybe he'll come to Dunsmith and help us out.
Do you know what's
help us
hard
kill
to-
the Mind Slayers.
It was easier to not die if you're like 100 feet away all the time, wizards.
To throw his axe 100 feet.
Can you just teleport him like 1,000 feet in the air?
And
Just let him
with
fall?
that, let's do a
should do
quick
it more
recap,
often.
and so we can continue our journey here in Dunsmith. When last we met, we were treated with a special flash into the memories of Ismini Callister. Our wizard had taken a bit of her memories and encoded them into a strand of arcane light to see if our dear Laurentius could parse these memories normally. Strangely, in the memory, Laurentius found himself covered in this familiar sensation as he sort of embedded himself into Ismini's mind, into what it was in the past. We got to see the beautiful House of Summer, this elven enclave hidden away in the mountains, a breath of warm summer air in the middle of these snow-capped peaks. We also got to meet Pigeon the horse, Ismini's longtime friend. And as the memory faded away, so too did the so oddly familiar intellect of Laurentius, returning to the state we've known him in for some time. Our heroes then chose to travel through Dunsmith, encountering several forms of challenge along the way, trying to make their way out of the city and to the hut of the strange elf known as Galoraba. On their way, they encountered strange phantom voices, which had attempted to pull them deeper into the darkness of Dunsmith, though they were able to resist in the end. They fought against a strange, inky ichor, this black liquid dripping over and over from this strange lantern, which attacked them violently in the streets. But eventually, they made it to the witch's hut. This elf seemed to be shifting back and forth between these two forms, one a kind, gentle herbalist who wished for the party to be able to stop the darkness that plagued the city, and the other, a strange witch, cackling and seemingly knowing far more than she had any right to. She gave them flashes, bits of insights, and hints as to what they should do next, but in the end, her crooked finger pointed them in the direction of the Resistance, a group of freedom fighters who were hidden away here within Dunsmith and trying to protect the citizens from the dangers of both the Illithids, the dark magics, and the celebrants of the Great Song, the mad cult that was slowly taking over the city. With that knowledge in hand, they continue to fight their way back through the city and eventually make it to the Harrison Library, a hidden away cove of knowledge and the sanctuary of the Resistance. It was there that our heroes found out that Fiona, Laurentius's former boo, had not only survived the attack on Dunsmith, but was now leading the Resistance, doing her best to protect the people of her home. Unable to stay and chat for long, our heroes learned that one of the Resistance caravans carrying supplies for the citizens of Dunsmith was attacked, and so they rushed off to face whatever threat it was. And what they found was an emaciated Illithid, or Mind Flayer, seemingly starved or harmed by some force, surrounded by concentric blood circles, the sign of some strange magic. In the end, our heroes were able to face down against the Illithid, but not before several of them were stunned or nearly defeated. It took the mighty arcane magics of Ismini Callister to finally fell the beast with their powers. Hurt, but still standing, they protected the caravan and returned it to the Resistance headquarters so that the supplies could be distributed to the people of Dunsmith. It is here we have spent the last evening as we start our session. You all have spent the previous evening and maybe even a couple hours this morning here helping the Resistance here in Dunsmith. Perhaps you've spent time within the hidden alcove. You've been helping with repairing the structure, tending to the wounded. Maybe you went on one of those patrols last night to assist in finding any stragglers as they try to take the citizens from their damaged homes into safe havens they've established throughout the city. But I would ask, I want to kind of go around the table here and see what you've done. You're all at this point either waking up in one of these sort of barrack-like areas with a couple of bunks that have been set up for folks, or you could already be up and working here this morning. Victoria.
There was one thing from the end of last session we didn't get to do that I even put in my notes. I'd like to properly introduce ourselves to Fiona.
Oh, yes.
As to Defiant Smiles, so that she knows.
Here's what I'd like to do then.
This is like a real thing.
You would know this morning is going to be they're going to be gathering some of the folks in that sort of war room, the big table in the center here. Perhaps this morning when Fiona's there would be a good, and you have all the party here, it would be a good time to introduce yourselves. Maybe explain yourself a little bit.
Yeah, because he just showed up and like wrecked shop and was like.
Unfortunately,
We wreck shop.
you didn't have time, Thorn, to talk with. You couldn't talk much with Fiona last night. Once the supplies were there, she was taken with both getting to the wounded and helping them out, getting them to the different healers that were present here, meager as they may be, as well as getting these relief supplies, food, blankets, everything that there's a bit of medicine even here too, to protect the people of Dunsmith. And so, unfortunately, you've had barely a moment to speak with her since last night. But maybe soon you'll be able to face with her once more. Let's start on this end of the table. Ililie, it's early morning, and I know you normally answer with running, but I'm curious, how have you been helping out with the resistance?
Well, fun fact, the answer is running. I would like to volunteer and be like, look, I can be really fast. I double checked, and I could technically cast 8 Expedition Retreat 8 times after the fight yesterday. So I would be like, where do you need me? Do you need things from across this? I will run there and run back as fast as I can. So I'd like to volunteer to do like supply runs or escort trip, like an escorting trip or anything.
All right. So what I would say you'd learn during this time is most of the people who the resistance are protecting at this point have been moved into these larger. They've used storehouses. They've taken over some of the larger merchant houses, villas in the city, and reinforced them. Those are moving with these caravans, like the one from last night, is how supplies are getting there. But there are still holdouts. Some of them too stubborn to leave their family homes, too afraid and lacking in trust to go with the resistance. And it is those that they deliver small parcels of supplies to keep them, regardless of if they're going to work with the resistance, keeping them alive. It's important to Fiona. And so what I would say is that you've spent quite a bit of time last night, maybe this morning as well, last night using your magic, and then no magic this morning, to deliver essentially overloaded backpacks filled with food and supplies in order to help out where you could there. And I would say your speed is uniquely suited for this.
Cool. Try to use a skill.
Some of the things you saw in the evening were challenging to think, to push from your mind as you laid your head to rest at last.
Things go bump in a night in Dunsmith, that's for sure.
Ismini Callister, how are your talents put to use?
I'm a wizard that's selfish. I'm very curious about these blood circles, and so I'm going to use a book charge to change one of my spells into Flock of Familiars. And I'm going to upcast Flock of Familiars so that Hoot, Chirp, and my new friend Trill are all going to go out.
There's another one.
Trill. Trill's
funny.
really good, actually.
Yeah.
Inspired.
Yeah.
And this is the previous evening you were doing this?
Yeah. So
Okay.
just so I don't have to use any spell slots in the next
Right.
But kind of like under the cover of evening darkness, send 3 owls out to go and just investigate the blood circle.
Can you do me a favor? I'm going to ask for 2 checks, and you can make one of these with advantage. Your choice. I would like a perception check. That check relates to how easily you find more of them, if more exist. Mm-hmm. And then an investigation check, which will say how much information you gathered from whatever you found. Is that okay?
Yes, I will do perception flat and investigation with advantage.
That sounds totally fine, because you know where one of them are.
Perception is a 10.
Okay.
And investigation is a 17.
17. With a 10, unfortunately, as you're trying to focus and find these things, you truly struggle to locate more of this strange blood magic. And occasionally, I would say you're kind of working with these birds in concert, sending one out, sending another out a different direction, giving them different tasks. These are kind of happening around the same time. You do learn something over time that you're able to inform Squawk in particular to some better information here you can use for fighting them. This form of particular arcane blood magic was used as a snare. It is intended for capturing and holding magics quite familiar to you, though of the planar variety. So these are for material creatures in some way. And learning that, you realize that the blood itself would not have been visible until the snare was struck. You aren't able with that 10 to find more of them in the evening, but you can glean some information from the other people here in the Resistance. These traps, according to the members of the Resistance you've spoke to, this one in particular, sort of a gaunt, gray-green skinned orc, who you can see has these very tattered tunic on, this dull blue thing. He does let you know that he's heard about them because it's been a problem with some of the caravans where people have been attacked by creatures and monsters that have been snared by these, and that they've been put up by Taylor, who is known to the Resistance. She's apparently been capturing some of these things, and normally they say the next day the monsters tend to be gone. Sometimes if they fight something and beat it, she'll come by to trade or barter to take whatever they have. And he kind of looks to you towards the end of it and kind of laughs to himself. You brought the beast from yesterday, and so I suspect we'll be seeing her in the next few days. Get a pretty penny up for it. Good as gold'll to do you around here.
That's true.
You said it trapped only material playing creatures?
So it's the magic itself isn't like as Meanie's special family magic where it's for catching outsiders. It's now it isn't. It is tuned in such a way where it won't catch humanoid creatures. It won't accidentally lock a human
Catch
elf.
An aberration.
It'll catch aberrations and monstrosities, or what this is keyed to.
I think they're aberrations.
They are aberrations, yes.
Cool. Not that I know that, but I.
But there are other creatures, perhaps, lurking the streets. You've heard various things from the Resistance. Hard to separate what's rumor and what's fact here.
I just wanted to confirm that it was tied to Taylor, basically.
Yes. It is known that at least the traps they know of seem to all be these traps, which are denoted themselves. There's actually a piece of white ceramic that is the actual trigger point of the trap. The blood itself emerging from it, having essentially been bound tightly in the space. So you're looking for a much smaller thing. It's hard to find when it's not active.
Especially vibrate. I have a quick question, if that's okay.
Your question, and then we're gonna go to Amanda for my downtime here.
And reminder on the spell. So
Does like in this like first night that we spend with the Resistance,
Yes.
is there a sense that these people have like, are they still in like very reactive? We don't know what's happening. Just stay safe, or have they started learning anything about like the illithids or mind flayers? Like, are these people essentially low key taking their first steps on like a monster hunter path, or is it very reactionary?
Because of what happened last night, there's not a lot of leadership around, but you are able to talk to a lot of there are scouts, there are soldiers here. None of these people, almost none of these people that you run into were military in any way before this. A few people you learn were hired hands, laborers. There are a couple people who were bodyguards of a local merchant, a bouncer from one of the taverns who you see kind of smiles seeing Thorn working the bar or near the bar. But what we can tell here is there's no one here seems to have the goal of fixing Dunsmith. It's, can we keep people alive until we find a way to leave?
Okay.
The standard operating procedure for seeing one of these creatures, these mind flayers, is to run and pray it doesn't want to chase.
Okay.
Because they're, to your understanding, those are considered one of the strongest things that's around here, except for whatever's in the river.
Yeah. Okay. The river, of course. The very scary river.
There's something wrong.
Cool. Thank you. It helps set like the understanding of eventually. I would imagine that if they were stuck here long enough, they'd probably turn on the how do we just start beating the creatures to death with rocks.
You can't help but notice, even in this library, which isn't super large, there are several bunk rooms there are quite a few bunks that aren't used. The forces here are dwindling and not growing.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably now that you've been able to go into the lower levels and upper levels and see all of the places that have been set up, as well as some of the adjacent buildings that they're using for storage as well, less than 35-ish people who could hold a short sword here. So it's a sizable little garrison, but it's everything they can do to keep people alive.
Okay. Cool. Good to know. Can I add something then? Can I just attempt to ingratiate myself? Like, be generally nice?
You just flat charisma check, and then I'm
Yeah.
going to move on to mine.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to roll back.
It's okay.
Just 11.
Okay.
Just
You try,
be
but
nice.
that first night was rough.
Tough.
People are apprehensive around you. There's some people who seem to kind of stonewall refuse to speak with
So
you.
realize I look weird, so it doesn't help.
They're also almost entirely human or orc, as well as half-orcs.
Mine's definitely with the healers. She has 2 first level spells, 2 second level spells, 3 third level, and 2 fourth level that she's gonna burn all night, casting healing magic, and then go to sleep.
The evening's work is
So bright.
tiring and bloody.
glowing.
You bring this radiant magic, and to many here you seem like a vision before death. This celestial thing floating down before them as they're in these last moments. You save several folks here who it's unlikely with the medicines you see here they've been able to recover. You see infected wounds. You see folks who are recovering from amputations, from great grievous injuries. But there is one man in particular you struggle with. We're gonna kind of go to this moment here. You first get to him, one of the healers here, a young man, certainly much more of a healer's apprentice, trying to explain that they found him in the road, some sort of cloaked figure above him. It fled when the patrol approached, but when they found this man, he was bleeding in the side of his head, wounded, a strange, almost perfectly circular hole in the side of his skull. The man, despite this horrible wound and the other scars and burns that appear, or the tears and wounds on his body, he's so still for what he is. Living, there's breath on his from his mouth, there's a beat in his chest, but just a dull groan every once in a while. Examining him, it's hard to tell what could have done this. It was horrifying. What did you do at this point? What is your plan upon seeing this man? Is there triage? Is there magic? Tell me a little bit
Definitely
about this.
magic. First, gonna try to remove curse to see if it was a spirit or something. It's very evil
Sure.
here, and so maybe some dark magic or something. Try to remove a curse that's maybe keeping him still.
So as you're kind of staying here in this moment, drawing upon this inner moonlight, this glow from within you, from within your soul, bringing this out. This room itself is filled with this cool, gentle feeling. You can feel the Moon Mother's light upon your skin, even here in this dimly lit hospital that's been set up within the library. As you do, you can feel the ambient presence of dark energies, spirits who feed on the suffering, begin to fade away through the room, and this man's condition does not appear affected. Well, he himself, and you're confident, you're certain at this point, he was not under the effects of a curse, at least not one of any nature you could understand. It seems that his wounds, it almost seems like they're physical, though him still being alive is strange with how little he's reacted to this. One of the healer comes by, they have this dark jar, this like dark green glass, and as you gaze inside, you see wriggling, shiny little things, long, thin, and black, these little leeches. You hear this song, those little suctiony sounds, and see these tiny little fangs of these swamp leeches they've brought. It could be an ailment of the blood.
I don't think that's the
Amanda's
best
face.
curse. Like, oh,
Maybe a lack of it.
yeah. Maya is not down for leech treatments
Not
at all.
into leeches?
No.
Where did they get the leeches? The river?
So yes, in the forest past Galaraba's hut, this is something that people can pass along to you. If you follow past there, continue by the river, it eventually becomes, there's a sort of bog a few miles out of town.
Oh, there one's like risking.
Not the river monster, no.
No.
I think we should hold off on the leeches and try a few other things first.
I suppose we could try something a bit more bespoke if you'd prefer. What do you have in mind?
I want to examine the head wound. You said it was circular?
Give me a medicine check with advantage because you do have a couple of healers here who can tell you what they've seen.
A math 20.
Straw.
With a math 20 and the knowledge imparted on you from your friends and previous checks, it becomes pretty clear this person was attacked by a mind flayer. This being in front of you has a pulse. It was whatever was being done to him was interrupted. A cold dread sweeps over your body. The warmth of the room fades away, and as you realize something, you feel it, this biting cold. Most of this person's brain has been siphoned away. It's gone. This body lives barely with whatever fragment of its mind still is within. This is a horrible existence this man is in. It is very clear that he will not last long without something else happening.
Yeah.
We all went
We
to the
have
same place.
we have suggestions.
We've all been
Pillows.
suggesting. I also
Pillows,
went pillow.
yeah.
I was like, you could just pillow him. It's so painless.
Power, lesser
I wasn't
restoration.
attempting to
know.
suggest that, but I guess that if three of you are asking, do you continue your work and leave him as he is?
You
Yeah.
haven't got into it.
I'll tell the healers
It's a
that there's
crossbow.
nothing to be done. Just keep him comfortable.
With that, they taking the note here. They go and gather. There are certain tinctures and potions that can be made relatively simply that numb the senses as much as possible and allow a very deep sort of sleep. Would be best in this time for rest. Purpose. And it is we have folks studying the blood magics. We have folks delivering in the dead of night with beasts and creepy crawlies
Gotta get your
nipping at
Pickin.
their heels at all moments. We've got you tending to the grievously wounded. Thorn, what did you do last night?
Okay, just an aside. Does anyone ever think has anyone seen Starship Troopers?
Yes.
Okay.
Doing my part.
When I think of like a mind flayer sucking the brain, I just think of like the brain bug with like the sickle thing going in. Like that's all I picture every time.
I think of breaking a crab leg and just going in on that. Yeah.
like-
just
When the shell is oddly hollow.
Yeah,
It's like,
I'm
wow,
thinking
it's
of that
really
like
hollow, doesn't it?
that weird like proboscis type thing. They would just
Someone
go
who doesn't
right
eat
into the noggin.
Crab, like
Lauren.
someone who doesn't eat shellfish got really grossed out just
I'm
now.
gonna say right now that anybody listening to audio only would get grossed out by the
I'm going-
slurping sound. Stop it with slurping sounds.
They're fun though.
Anyway, I just had to get that out there. When I'm not working the bar, I want to. When we first came in, there was like
There is a small place that has been set up with a couple of barrels, and there's even a few bottles that have been hidden away here.
Yeah.
There's no merriment. There are a few folks who come and ask for whatever you can provide them to get them.
something to just numb the pain a little, even if for just for a little bit, help them out that way at least. But when I'm not doing that, I remember when we first came in here that Fiona was standing over like maybe like a troop map or something.
You have a map of the city.
Yeah, I want to just study that as much as possible. Maybe even ask questions about like maybe the like movements of the creatures that they might know about, or like the avenues they tend to take, stuff like that.
Okay.
Maybe points of interest.
That's going to be important. Remember that you did this. This is going to help you with some. As you spend your time studying this as best you could, getting the information you can.
Cool.
This will be important for certain checks as we continue in Dunsmith. All right.
Okay.
Let's jump to the following morning. It's early. Some of you are tired. The faces here, even with you arriving and helping, things still seem quite grim in here in Dunsmith. The party, as you begin kind of consolidating, leaving your bunks, many of these just essentially hammocks that have been set wherever they could. You hear someone off in the distance. Can I get some help in the kitchens?
That's me.
Okay.
I'll be back.
all look at Thorn.
Quickly, if you want to reach behind a bookshelf and pull an apron out, it's already tying it there.
Did you leave that there like years ago?
Yes.
For this moment.
You don't have any memories of
I pull a tablecloth off the table. None of the glasses fall. Walk into the kitchen.
Someone throws a copper piece. It is at this point that you can see that several people are now gathering around that large table from before. Right now, a lot of people seem to be looking towards Titus, the half-orc that you met, who was working as the front sentry yesterday. Three of you, feel free to join. We've been doing a bit of a briefing for today's efforts, and actually, could one of you go fetch Fiona? She's second door on the right on the second floor.
Sure. Everybody looked at me.
You're the polite one.
I'm always rude by accident.
Okay, I'll go get food.
I'm in the back saying, yes, chef.
You just hear in the distance, it's fucking raw!
I hear hot behind. He's throwing saying cuz. We're in a bear episode.
Yeah. Both Mai and Elle, you start hearing some very basic orders being issued by Titus. Some more, only about half the supplies have been distributed at this point. So more of them are coming out. There's a grim sense that these are not going to be enough. Like, there's less than we wanted got here. They've been beset on the way before even the trap, and greed festers where evil delights. It's a bad place. Ismini, you make your way up these steps solemnly.
Sorry, I'm mentally playing a cleric right now. I got really distracted.
Is that what we're doing?
I was staring at him and like, read my mind.
You make your way up the steps towards the second floor here of the library. It is here that you can see that most of these shelves have been emptied. You know that a lot of the books have been discarded or put into the alley proper to make more space for what you now see before you. You see a couple of the just citizenry who's up here. Just people. There's people who are older, people who are a little too young to be working, people who, for one reason or another, just don't have the strength or skills required to fight what's happening in Dunsmith. You make your way past. You see a door here. No filigree, no fanciness here at all. The only adornment that it gives you any indication of something different here is a single nail that's been put through the front of the door with a piece of this red ribbon that is kind of dangling from it. The ribbon itself, nice, but nothing absurdly wealthy or anything. You can hear the sound, just sounds like someone quietly muttering to themselves inside.
I will gently knock 3 times.
Yes, come in.
I will enter.
You open the door to this small room. You see that there is a single bed that has been pushed into this corner, and a number of tables. Too many. The space is cramped and claustrophobic. So whoever put things in here kind of choked whatever atmosphere it could have had here until there was no comfort left, only what it needs to command what's happening here. You see Fiona, she's like 3/4 turned away from you in a wooden chair here. She has a small violet book is placed on the table before her, papers kind of scattered about, and on top of it is a small iron pyramid. You see the pyramid itself on the outer faces has a little aperture, and from the aperture is currently a bit of light emerging. You see that there's a soft sound, click, 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 that ticks away, and as it does, you watch as the lights emerging from the pyramid rotate, change, shift. What was once white is now blue, pink, red, a prism of light emerging from this prismatic spray of light emerging. Just a small little area, this little trinket up close. You can, as you kind of step into the room, there's bits of not filigree so much as there's etched components to it. This is a crafted object of some sort. Yes, you came along with Laurentius.
Yes, I just wanted to let you know that Titus has begun the morning briefing.
I'm sorry. Yesterday was a lot, and she turns away from you for a moment and presses her hand on the top of the pyramid. As she does, it clicks. The apertures spiral shut. Where there once were circular holes, you see a series of these angled triangles sealing, closing it tightly. You've seen something similar before in Gwynwyn's shop, Gwynwyn's workshop in the past. This is some sort of artifice object. Very well, there's much to attend to. I hope you'll be attending the briefing. We could really use the help of you and your friends.
Yeah, I want to go ahead and get the formal introductions out of the way, just so that you know. We're not trying to make splashes or anything, but we're from the mercenary group known as the Defiant Smiles in the City of Elves. All 4 of us are members.
I'm sorry to say I'm not familiar, but I appreciate you coming. We have little in the way of coin. what silver is mined by Rite is in the clutches of the celebrants.
It's not about paying us for our work. It's about that I understand. Thorn was a different person when he left. And so maybe that would help you kind of see where he's coming from now.
I'm happy to know he's alive. Even more so that he hasn't spent the last year here. She just kind of looks around her in the room, still only dimly lit with the this pyramid no longer active. Only a single candle lights this small room. Did he think me dead?
That I understand, yes. If he didn't, I'm sure he would have been back sooner.
Well, there's no time for that. Thank you so much. Let's get downstairs.
Great.
With that, she nods. You watch. She pulls her hair back, ties it up as she begins walking on the stairs, still kind of working on it, getting it out of her face. It's at this point, some time spent in the kitchens. You're dropping a big old basin of just these finished off peeled potatoes.
Yeah.
Peeled potatoes. So many. Like there's truly, you pat someone's shoulder because you've shown them a new method.
There's this beautiful device I would like to construct. There's a potato box, and it's like a 2 foot by 2 foot box that you just stack up higher and higher and higher, and you grow potatoes in it. And then you can just like stick it in a corner and just grow potatoes inside.
Are you Polish?
I was just thinking about. I'm just thinking about the fact that like it would be very easy for them to grow potatoes inside of the library.
I need to clarify that you are Polish and I'm not.
Not just racist.
Not racist. Balls. I need you to help me out here.
You are really.
Yes, that was a knee jerk.
I don't want to make you go miss out on the briefing. So like at this point, hearing what's going on, you're excused.
Sorry, I didn't have any butter, and I'll just leave.
I really don't have butter.
You can see that gathered around the table are your friends that have Plant Smiles. You see, look like the main people here look to be Fiona, the leader of the resistance who you've met here. There is that human man you saw last night. You learned briefly his name was Arthur. Seems to have been put in charge when she sort of charged into things from last night. There's Mouser, the gray goblin, who Laurentius was knew. And there's also Titus, that orc you saw as well. These seem to be the people who have some amount of say here, though there are plenty of other people around. You're given a space closer to the table, looking around at the faces of the humans, orcs, and the couple of lizard folk you see present here as well, with their sort of strange features. They're very far away from other materials, other sentience around here. All right. Well, thank you, Titus, for getting things started for me. Fiona just kind of continues issuing out some orders to some folks here who some of the scouts, upon giving their orders, immediately begin bolting out of the door. As you can see, as the front door of the library is pushed open, the sun has not yet risen. We are just before sunrise the following day. As for you four,
Smiles.
yes,
All smiles.
the Defiant Smiles.
Thank you.
We don't have much in the way of payment, but we do have much in the way of problems. And hopefully some of these we'll be able to get your help with. And if you have an idea of what can be done here, we would appreciate any feedback.
Payment's
Consider
not
us-
necessary.
Yeah.
This is a self-funded mission.
This is a self-funded mission. Just point us in a direction. We're a hammer.
Yeah, we will whack something to death if you point us there.
Yeah, we'll beat them off.
We're bad at the business side of mercenary stuff. We're in it for the hero stuff.
Yeah.
Which is good news for y'all.
Well, I suppose we have a few options for you, and feel free. Many of these have been on our docket for a while, but I simply don't have the manpower, or unfortunately, in certain cases, we don't have the ability to resolve these. And it seems like you four, I'll say it, capable.
Thank you.
She's always been a realist.
No, I'm flattered. I'm like truly. I'm like, wow. Fiona thinks she's done this for less than a day, and she thinks we're competent.
We left for a minute, killed an illithid, and came back with their caravan.
I'm just saying, I get Thorn's opinion.
If
I
possible,
like someone nice.
we should try to locate the wizard, the Dominion mage, Taylor. With you having taken one of her prizes from her traps, I'm sure she'll be here to provide some services, conjure up a bit more resources for us to supply the citizenry.
Do you think she's been helpful? Because we found that she's been pretty resistant to assisting.
She's very rude.
I'm sorry, is she?
She's very curt.
Trade knowledge and resources for her assistance.
If she approached us early on and was willing to barter for any of the beasts or things we found, she's able to. She has magic. She's able to conjure food, drink, resources that we need.
Yeah.
Did you get
resources?
She can magically casting a spell.
Is it a ritual?
No, it's create food and water.
You want to cast it?
Yeah.
First of all, it's like 40. It's like 10 gallons or something.
45 pounds of food and
I'm
30
sorry,
gallons of
She
water.
can magically solve your problem, and she made you barter for it. I'm circling back. We're not flirting. We're killing her.
I'm just gonna stand around the corner and just.
You're like,
if,
oh yeah.
if we could locate Taylor, the last caravan was hit pretty hard before they got returned back to the main part of the city, and unfortunately, after the looters took what they could, we don't have the resources. If we could find her, she's likely examining her traps on one of her patrols, or she'll be in one of her labs.
Do you just need her for resources? Because otherwise we could do that.
Well, she has been a useful source of information as well. The celebrants, they've been our real thorn. They've...
Yeah.
Sorry, Alex chuckled off screen. They've been a terrible issue. They attack us. They constantly harass the citizens.
Where is their base?
The celebrants of the Great Song are current, as far as we can tell. Their primary stronghold is the Mictara Manor, to the west of Dunsmith.
Burn it down.
My father is there.
Yeah, they're not dead.
She thinks for a moment for the right word. It would be wrong for me to say my father simply funds them. It is my understanding, with best information we have so far, that he is of some high rank within their organization. I don't know why exactly he has tied himself to them, what obsessions beneath the city have led him to this point, but...
Do the celebrants attack you guys regularly, and are they...
The celebrants are more concerned with the people outside of this building, but still in Dunsmith. They sink their claws in where they can, kidnapping, killing, or converting.
Got it.
Those are the options.
Sorry,
they give.
can we roll back? Your father, you mentioned is he brainwashed the way they are? Or do you believe he is conscious?
Madness struck my father far before I first heard of these celebrants.
He was mad before.
The celebrants formed a few weeks, a month at best, after the center of town was destroyed. By that point, my father had already sealed himself and every strong sword arm he could within my old home. It took me a few weeks before I was allowed to leave. He traveled through one of the tunnels in our home. For a long time, he was obsessed with something under the city. He hired people, paid people great sums of coin to come here and study. He wouldn't share it with me. All my life he spent preparing me to take on the Mictara name, to hold our properties, to oversee Dunsmith. But only this he kept too close to himself, saying I wasn't ready. Then a streak of green flew through the sky, and my life as I knew it ended. However, through Taylor, as well as through what we've learned from the few celebrants we've been able to get to talk, there are several ways to reach whatever's down there. Beneath my father's manor, there is a tunnel. It would be the most direct route, but also the most fortified. Some of the celebrants have spoken about the crater. And it leads me to believe that there's something there that relates to whatever's going on here. There is another option, though it is dangerous. There's a tunnel. There's a tunnel just south of town. Not even outside of the city's streets necessarily, city limits. It leads to a cavern system beneath Dunsmith. Though, bless you, it's also where we've seen several of those creatures, those mind flayers, emerge from. When we had more men, we sent some folks to try to clear things out. We even brought a few casks, a few barrels of black powder we were able to salvage with the intent of collapsing the cavern. Unfortunately, they were beset. She closes her eye for a moment and turns, facing very pointedly facing away from Thorn. They were beset by drow. The drow emerged, slew them nearly to the last, and I have no more black powder to attempt another expedition.
Did they happen to have a weapon like this? And I will pull out a
that thing.
Soothsayer's spider sword, is what I named it on my sheet.
She kind of looks us over. I am not certain of the exact nature of their weapons. Many of them were archers, was my understanding. They attacked from the shadows and were only seen briefly.
That tracks with what we
However,
encountered.
Yeah.
whatever is happening here isn't as important as keeping the people of Dunsmith safe. And for that, I need more men. And there is an option, but we've been unable to get through their thick skulls. At this point, she kind of turns over to Titus, who continues. He stops and you watch as he removes his helmet, this very brutal thing as opposed to the more gentle sort of clothing he wears. How familiar are you with the Pax people?
Very
Oh,
familiar.
Don't know.
nope. Read stories.
There are Paxi here that aren't helping.
So you look around. There were about 5 or 6 of these orcs around. They're strong. Orcs are larger than average. These are strong. They're armed. They're more armored than most of the people here. Well, before it happened, a fair few of us were here. Sort of a long story, but when it came down, when the city broke, a few of us got into a bit of an argument, and well, I was in charge until I wasn't anymore. The Pax people have a troubled history with violence, believing bloodlust to be the greatest of sins. They do not don their helmets except for times of war, and without a helmet, they do not fight. Not in any way other than self-defense. Pertinax, a powerful orcish man, challenged Titus here, and in his victory, he gained control of most of the Paxi who were here. We've asked for their help, that they bring their steel alongside us, that we may protect and pull people out, perhaps evacuate southward, further into the valley, away from the center of the city. But without his people, I don't have a way to get everyone out of here. Moving in that large of a group will draw the ire of the celebrants, or the mind flayers, or worse. If you would, perhaps a new face, someone from the outside, would be able to convince them that this is a time worth donning their helmets, worth donning their blades.
How did the Paxi feel about
people that look like me.
The Pax live in a land of high cliffs and sturdy rock. There are no tunnels beneath the peninsula. I doubt they care much. They think much differently about you as they do me.
Perfect.
Perhaps if we can't persuade them to take up arms, a different mission. If large groups of people attract, perhaps one or two disappearing at a time, will take less attention.
I hate to be the way that I am, but I would rather just get rid of the problem and let these people
Oh
have their
no,
hopes back.
I'm saying if we can't convince them to fight, perhaps we, in order to get their support, suggest this alternate method.
I think we might need to deal with the problem that keeps
Yeah.
poking holes in them first. So maybe the celebrants.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yes, we
I
have
think
to
that might
fix
be
the city
problem,
being
the
broken.
biggest problem.
My concern with going towards the celebrants, I'm sorry to do all this in front of you, but we need to get this out of our systems. My problem with going
This
towards
is a war table. I want discussion.
We normally try to be polite.
She's the DM of the table. She's just like, of course, no, please.
My problem with going towards the celebrants, though, is how many of them would go back to normal and be reticent for their actions if they weren't
Is it possible?
being controlled in some way.
You know these people. We don't.
Any of the ones you captured, did any of them show remorse or anything?
Or is it not?
How many are
There are those who seem just have the strongest religious fervor. It's if you've ever seen worshiper of the High Judge in an argument, you'll have seen exactly what I mean. These
The trial.
folks just seem excited, passionate. We get little to nothing but sermons, prayers, and strange proverbs. There are others who seem scared, and we have a few that we've been able to get to leave, to pull away, but those we haven't stayed within the resistance for long, quickly retreating to one of the refugee camps, or more often than not, leaving the city, and we haven't heard from them again. And then some of them are not truly themselves.
Husks.
Men and women with this creature inside of them.
Ah.
They pretend to be us, but it's not true. Before we knew more about Taylor, we had been performing a unfortunate rite. It is with this you watch as she begins rolling up one of the sleeves on her long shirt, and you see there is a burn mark along the outside of her forearm. You see a few moments later, Titus pulls this up. They fear fire while they hide within us. It was how we could test if people were actually who they said they were. But with Taylor's help, we've been able to. She gives us this, it's a powder, and breathing it is poisonous to them, and we're able to test it. It's harmless to us, so we're able to test for what's happening.
A powder.
It's this sort of ground blue thing. It's very pungent.
Hey, Mai, how do you feel about bombs?
I mean, explosions are
We
fun.
don't have any more black powder. It's still in the caverns, wherever the drow took it to. Or it's left in the cart. We haven't been back.
Just saying.
My vote would be to go
Seems we
to
could
the
do
manor,
airborne warfare and
tell people, go to them, say, like, you can either surrender or you die.
But
Let the
there
people
are-
who are afraid flee.
Peer
Don't
pressure
actually
to-
kill
peer
anyone.
pressure to leave a cult.
My father has at least 150 swords to his name.
I'm not worried about the number of people.
Yeah.
I'm worried.
Yeah,
I'm worried about the number.
we all go.
I'm not worried about the number of people. I'm worried about the number of people that are being mind controlled. That if the mind control were broken, then they would go back to normal.
We don't
Then maybe
actually
we need
kill
to-
them, except for the husks. We do kill the husks.
I say
we just
go
knock
get
them
the black
unconscious and tie them
powder,
up.
and then we seal all of the air inside of the building and drop it in the chimney.
I can't carry enough rope to tie up 100 people.
It's so sweet that you want to tie up 100 people. I've
So-
seen you murder so many people so far.
You've
There-
done fireballs on
You've
people
definitely
before.
wasted some guys.
The jumping off point for the celebrants was when Baron McTara, whatever his name is,
Barris.
Barris McTara, went into his secret tunnel system under his manor, found something, became obsessed with it, And then when this happened, gathered a large group of people and told them about it and convinced them that it's this new thing.
They worship it.
Then maybe we need to find the thing that they're worshiping and get rid of it.
It's probably the rift.
Which, if
But what if we can't resist it? Because you eat
Gems. Okay?
they're the same freaking thing.
The other thing is,
pressurized.
how do you close a rift? I don't know that kind of magic.
Everyone,
Is Mimi?
Fiona turns to the meeting.
If only we had a powerful arcanist from,
Mimi, how do we
from
close
an
a
infamous
rift?
wizarding family. Do you know how to close a rift?
So are rifts similar to
Not on this piece of paper. I don't.
are rifts similar to demons?
We watch you close a demon into something casually. It feels like a rift is easier than the
That was
demon.
one of the most impressive things you ever. That was not
No,
casual.
it's not
Yeah,
casual.
that was not a casual thing at all.
This is flattery. Casually. Without breaking a sweat. Nothing.
So sorry. Flat.
I
She was definitely sweating. I saw it.
Shut the fuck up. Casually. Without breaking a sweat. And it just seems like a rift that doesn't even have claws to murder you with.
according to my spell book, I don't know how to close a rift.
Besides the spell magic would be the only thing I could think of.
I think I'd look upwards towards God / the dungeon master and say, dude, could we figure out how to close a rift?
You do
I will
have
tell you this:
up
you
the,
need to be there for
Wait.
sure.
Right.
the spell to talk with the god of
I'm the
knowledge.
servant.
You will need to contact another plane to ask a god of knowledge,
How to close the rift?
servant, how to close the rift.
Yes.
You can
like you
speak to
just close the
beings from
door,
other
duh.
planes.
Yes.
Yes.
She's a wizard.
A few seconds ago, we mentioned that she sealed a demon away. Like, powerful wizard friend.
Thorn, what?
They're freaks.
You don't get to speak for her.
Excuse me.
My mind.
Are you carrying a long blade now?
We followed a wolf into another plane
Upgrade.
of existence. A giant wolf. That we were hired to
wolf?
kill.
Fiona,
It was a
what
friend wolf.
what takes precedence for you at the moment? What is the most important issue at hand that needs to be handled?
I say we contact other plane and ask.
DM, what do you want us to do? No,
I say go with option number 2 of the 3 routes to get to the center of the earth.
Yeah, I was thinking either crater or the Drow tunnel.
I think we should go in the Drow tunnel, but I do think it is worthwhile
would
to
suggest-
contact other planes.
you could try to meet.
I'm not kidding.
You could try to meet over with the
If you're-
orcs. If the Pax people, if you can find a way to convince Pertinax to allow his people to fight to protect Dunsmith, it would allow safety here. We could expand our space here, bring in more refugees, protect ourselves. With enough sword arms, we could beat back one of those creatures if they came to attack us. But as you said, the crater, we haven't been able to get there successfully in months. The closer you get, the more creatures appear. The more you can't trust your senses.
So, quick trip to Pertinax to see if we can convince him. If he's a douche, I don't know, doesn't want to help,
Drow
then we go Drow tunnels.
Be careful. He's not a weak man, and I had control. And he looks down with a bit of shame. He bested me in single combat.
Wait,
So, single combat's their form of
I
negotiation.
is it dueling?
We do know a pretty good duelist.
No,
Sorry,
single
he's not
combat.
smiling.
It's single combat, okay?
I don't know.
It's cooler.
The definition of a duel is combat between two single people.
No, they're in a
The
relationship.
Pax do not go to war lightly. But the arena, it is where we grow strong.
Would it be culturally insensitive for someone outside of the PAX to challenge? Fully sincere.
He looks at you with a bit of confusion in his eyes. We do not own strength.
Sorry, Olivia Arendelle, House of Summer. Elves have a lot of weird stuff going on. It's a fair question.
How do they feel about Dex?
I don't.
Hey, that
I don't
one's
do
for
none of
elves.
that Dex stuff.
Elves are very sneaky people only.
Define strength. Okay.
Question
let's
before
go
we leave.
Check out the packs.
Monster in the river. What do y'all know about it?
Does it have tentacles? And then there were two.
Whatever it is has been getting bigger. For many months, we were able to take horses alongside the river in order to make it back faster. Now we take the wide way around town. It adds almost an hour to our travels because it started plucking our horses out from the road.
I hate that y'all spent a year living like this. Truly. I'm sorry we didn't come sooner. If we had known, well, we would have probably done this before many other things.
I'd like to hear more about.
And I will say, even though I'm told not to volunteer things like this,
Oh no! Here's our business card.
even I doubt it, knowing there's at least some good voices in the royal halls of Elts. No opinion about the king yet.
What is happening right now?
No, but if you need other resources, Jubilee will take you. And so if you need somewhere else to go afterwards, you and the rest of Dunsmith. Hopefully we're piecing together the city, but just in case...
We're trying to find... We're not trying to recover Dunsmith. We're trying to get our people out. We haven't been able to send scouts out. If you hadn't heard about what was happening here, you said. I've sent 12 men to their deaths then.
You wouldn't believe how many more have come from the other side this way, never returned.
Well, I have work to do. Arthur here, he looks up, would be your best source for information if you have any other questions. If you are going to be visiting the Orcish encampment, it's terribly close. I have a small favor. You watch Fiona rolls her eyes as she just begins turning heel and strutting off to the side. You see that she meets up with a group of soldiers here who are sharpening their weapons. She's continuing, just giving instructions to her people. There is a tavern. I'm so sorry, the order. The orcs are staying in a small market square. They've closed off, built a small set of walls around. There's a few abandoned granaries, a workshop, and a couple of warehouses they're using to keep their people kept in. Just aside of that is there's an inn, the Dreaming Witch. It's where I was staying, and my book, my manuscript.
I fully understand.
It is.
Yeah, you got us. What room should we look in?
Oh, not a problem. The roof is gone. The second story is entirely gone at this point. No.
Make it easy.
First store, and I have a key. If you would be willing to bring that back, I would appreciate it very much. You can have, it is in a special sort of container, and you can have it if you'll fetch this for me. It would mean a great deal. I came to Dunsmith to write, and tragedy befell.
Can you send a copy to Defiant Smiles when it's done? In exchange for retrieving it?
Here's our P.O. box.
Post publication.
Post publication?
Alex is over here saying it's boys' love.
Oh. Dang it, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
It's canon now.
He's like, please don't open the book. Please don't open my book.
I came here to write something happy, and tragedy struck. I'd love to have it back. It won't look like much. There's a small. It'll be in a small pouch. I hid it underneath the bed. It's bigger on the inside. It looks smaller than it is.
I can hold it.
It would mean everything to me to get it back.
We shall get your book for you.
You know we've been desperately
Thank
wanting. I would still like a
True.
copy, regardless of its contents, I suppose.
Sure.
Just for our library. It's fine.
So I can cast Contact Other Plane if you'd like. However, there's a chance that I go insane for the entire day.
I think we just go talk to the
We'll
taxi.
do that tonight, this
Yeah.
evening.
Can we do it at night?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Because there's a possibility I'm useless for the rest of the day because I go insane.
Yeah, because then you'll just be insane at night. We'll wrap you up in a blanket nice and tight.
Burrito you.
I fully trust all of you
Strap you to a
with me not being fully in control.
All right, so it sounds like we're heading out.
Yeah.
We can get drunk whenever you want.
You did get the 45 pounds of food, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe that spell feeds. It tells you how many people you pay. You can feed with it. It's in the full spell description.
15 humanoids or 5 steeds for 24
Yeah.
hours.
So that's good. It helps feed like a third to a quarter of the people who are here. But hey, it's extra supplies. It's very useful and it was very much appreciated here.
If they're running low on food and water, that could be stretched
Yes.
with what they have.
Exactly. Their oatmeal mush.
Only reason why that spell came to mind was because it was the only thing keeping us alive in our campaign that I was a cleric.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we had no food.
We had no food in that campaign or water.
After finishing preparing your supplies, saying
Being in Avernus is not good.
gather your supplies and make your way out into the city of Dunsmith. Now on the other side of this sort of hidden facade, the false like barricade they built that looks like a stack of detritus, barrels, garbage. You're out here with Ralnor, I assume, is meaning?
Yeah.
You stand here on the steps. The feeling of life not that far back behind you has now fully faded away. The city of Dunsmith is cold. The fog light today, the faintest drizzle of water occasionally plop, plop, dropping against you. Always finding a small patch of skin where it can, striking against the back of your neck. A patch, if you have a rip on your sleeve, you just feel the light, cold, icy drop of water on you. As we begin to make our way through the city. Now, I believe you said you'd like to go to the Orcish encampment, which you know how to get to, so that's not a problem.
I studied the map.
The most direct route is through the damaged central bridge, which is by the crater, or you can try to take the wider path, which is what you guys did last time, because you will have to go to the other side of the river.
I kind of don't want to get snatched and die.
Wider
So-
path.
Yeah, let's take the wider path.
No snatch today.
Not a problem, so that'll be 2 checks here. I'm gonna go ahead and start with Connor.
I know what I said.
He lives. He lives.
I said nothing. I don't know.
Connor,
Connor looked right
roll
at
me.
me.
I'd like you to roll me a d20. That will tell you this time. Lower is worse. I don't normally do this on my encounter tables.
Nervous.
Rockin' purple today.
Roll one.
6.
One failed
Wait,
death
did
save.
he laugh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
He wheezed.
I also need you to roll me a second one of these. Why did you? What were you rolling? Were you already rolling it? You were ready for it?
Yeah.
You said
Oh,
roll two.
cool. Yeah, I just because I'm just gonna decide what order I do these things in.
14.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm not gonna tell you which one of these is which.
I mean,
Great.
why would you?
Whichever one's worse.
You begin making your way through the city itself. It's quiet, save for the occasional low rumbling, like a lurking beast, of the thunderclouds above. This flashing violet light emerging briefly through the black-gray clouds in the skies above you. The sun, only having just begun to rise, barely illuminates the thick, dense cloud cover above you. In the distance, the only sound you hear, save for the boots on the ground, is the faint creaking of a door, just barely ajar as you walk your way through the streets, taking the wide path around.
I'm gonna NOPE that.
Giving it a wide berth. Yeah, you give it some extra space into the other side of the road, glancing at this home, damaged, black scorch marks along the side, strange angular things. So for some of you, it's confusing what this might be, and then a few moments later, it hits you. It's lightning damage.
Oh, I don't look at the door. I look at Mai. She has a much better perception than I do. I'm looking for her reaction.
you hear the faintest sound right behind you. This small, it almost sounds like jingle of coins, but it's a little too dull. The sounds aren't as bright. Something behind you. Your head whips around. You see a small pouch on the ground, black leather, probably about yay big, with a drawstring that has been pulled tight.
I'm gonna cast Detection of Good and Evil.
That's fun.
Tell me,
Evil everywhere.
Yeah, it
tell
looks
me
like.
more what happens.
Never mind. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna. What it
Know
looks
if
like.
an aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, undead, and or desecrated
It's
or
a map
consecrated
you can
area
look
are
up
within
online.
30 feet.
Give me those types from the beginning again.
Aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, undead.
Okay.
How many
Cool.
boxes does that tick?
So,
Is that like all of them?
don't worry about what I'm doing. I'm not doing nothing.
I was gonna say something sad. I'll write it down.
You don't sense. I'm going to tell you that you're not sensing a creature,
Okay.
but there are aberrant energies permeating this place. I know I'm kind of bastardizing the spell here. Get at me in the comments if you want. What?
Lulu.
Huh?
I said it's Lulu.
Kill an angel for her.
So you feel these strange kind of aberrant energies wriggling and writhing through the air, connected. Almost like there's two feelings. There's this strange wriggling, pulsing sensation that permeates the area, and also occasionally this prodding, testing feeling, like something bursting, like a spear bursting from the ground, striking you and your friends. Something reaching out feelers from below. It bounces off harmlessly from you. You don't sense anything from the bag itself, other than there's lingering ambient energy here. So it doesn't seem like right now, the bag doesn't detect as anything.
All right, I'll pick up the bag.
You feel there's a bunch of objects inside, small objects, not moving except that you've jiggled the bag slightly. You hear them almost like a stone-like sound now, as something's bumping inside. A bunch of small things are inside, bumping together.
Open it.
As you pull this pouch open, you kind of admire this. It is well made. It's very soft leather on the outside. It's got this sort of this stitched letters on it. KB has been etched upon, has been sewn into this. What is the word I'm looking for? Towels. People
Monogram.
This monogrammed pouch. Wow. And on the inside, a fine red silk, bright, vivid red, brighter than all but the most highly ranked lieutenants of Elts. And inside are 32 human teeth.
That's all set,
Is it?
Do you want to make a
Excluding-
medicine check for me?
Yeah.
excluding the wisdom teeth.
Did you have wisdom teeth? Good question.
16.
No, they're not wise.
16 is a pass. It is a full set, but these don't look like they match each
I'm
other.
actually pretty wise.
Oh.
You have a bag of human teeth.
Human? Distinctly?
Sick.
Distinctly human teeth.
Maybe it was
Was
just
it
a mom
elven
carrying
or
around the baby
dwarven?
teeth. You know?
Okay, cool. I have a question. When you did the protection, did Raunor ping?
What are the types? I'm sorry, you just know.
We know what Raunor is, even if you won't tell us.
No, I meant mechanically,
He's a
he's a
monstrosity.
monstrosity.
Yeah, Monstrosity's not listening.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
no.
He's a monstrosity.
And he's a baby.
He is a monster.
He's a baby.
No, I'm sorry. What is the?
Rattler is trying to eat the bag. He's jumping up trying to eat at the bag.
Brass. He's a baby.
Yeah.
Brass.
No,
Are
I'm
you-
just
You're holding the bag so he can't eat it.
like,
Oh, you're so
do
tall,
not
too.
eat the human teeth.
So you're gonna keep the bag of sky teeth?
Rattler can almost get there. There actually at this point, he fully can easily put his front paws on your shoulders without jumping.
I miss our German Shepherd. He just had become like a Shetland pony.
I just have a feeling that these teeth might be important, so yes.
Okay.
You have a feeling the teeth are important.
Are they adult teeth or are they baby teeth?
I have a feeling this bag of teeth must be important, Amanda.
I mean, you might lose some of yours. You could probably use these as a
Wait, are
spare.
they baby teeth or are they adult teeth? That's what
These
actually
are adult teeth.
weird.
But they're not all from the same person.
No, they look like they might be from 32 people.
Like extra front teeth.
If you had to give up
No,
one
it's a
tooth,
full set.
Wait, is
They
it full
went
set of
down the
individual
line.
Teeth? Oh, that's weird. Not just 32 full set number wise, but full set of
See,
Yeah.
I almost. Nothing. Don't worry about it.
I missed it does when earlier. It's fine.
Have this a
You were
bit
healing
disconcerting, but continue making your way.
Maybe the next bag I'll have a full set of bones for those teeth.
By the end of this trip, we'll
Yeah.
actually build a full skeleton together. We'll
Yes.
learn about the human body.
It's what, like 206 bones?
Yeah.
Everybody? Okay.
You're the closest thing we have in this room to a medical professional, Connor. So don't
Ooh,
ask
that's
us.
a big stretch.
I said the closest thing.
Yeah,
I didn't call you a
that's fair.
medical professional. You're certified.
I was certified. Was past tense.
Ah. You continue pushing through the streets of Dunsmith, making it to that wide bridge you crossed the previous evening, and finally pushing over to the north side of the river. This is the side that will have like the tavern is on this side of the river eventually, and the crater is as well. And begin arcing around, making your way closer and closer to this market, which the market itself is a few minutes away from the crater and the central bridge where the river is.
Detect good and evil lasts for 10 minutes. Am I detecting anything as we walk?
I mean, you're detecting.
Besides the
I
aberrations
was like,
of all the
there
bad
is
stuff.
the city itself is it's not desecrated. I don't want to use the word desecrated because that's like opposite
Denote
of divine.
specific thing.
Yeah, that's like non-divine.
Yeah.
But you do begin paying. I'll go ahead and I'll keep your. I want
vibes?
to play in the space because
your vibe detector says
Hey.
bad.
because you begin detecting something actively. You feel a strange sense. You look towards the side, find yourself staring at one of these bare walls. This fence, this tall wooden fence that is set up behind one of the structures here. You make your way further into the road. You see there's quite a bit of damage here. It looks like a carriage, like an overhead fancy carriage at some point was attacked, shattered, damaged. Just looters and pillagers came by. There is a storefront nearby where you see that there is a collection, like there's the beams from the window have been ripped out, glass shattered on the ground. The still faces of porcelain dolls. Sometimes you just want to say things just to watch your friends' faces.
Matthew?
Yes?
Haunted Doll Watch.
Another sense. You glance to the right. The front facing of one of these homes to the side. Doors closed shut. Windows boarded up. You swore you see a piece of glass move ever so slightly on the ground.
I hate to say it, but I think your home, after we get all the people out, should just be burned down to the ground. And,
You want to salt it and piss on the ashes too?
You know,
not piss, but salt, yes.
when we first went to Dunsmith, I compared it to do like in The Bachelor when they do hometown
What is your
visits.
passive perception specifically?
19.
15.
Okay.
Those visits.
19?
19.
That's why I'm watching her.
You feel movement behind you, toward one of the walls. Behind you, you glance. All you see Thorn. You feel something. It's getting closer and closer. The motion, you feel it, but you can't place it. It's like a gentle rustling. What do you do?
It's the
Is it like the thing that was going after Elle earlier? Does it feel kind of like that? Yesterday?
The warmth.
The warmth.
Went like this.
It is not an invisible figure like previously. Here,
I couldn't see it.
Because Brown were reacting at all?
Roundlore has not noticed what's going on here. There's very gentle rustling. As this detect evil's beginning to fade here, you can't help but realize it's not your senses. It's this spell that is detecting something. There is an aberration. As you're sensing it on this flat edifice of this wall here. What do you do?
I told the Aberration Wizard, hey!
aberration.
Aberration wizard. Abjuration.
Abjuration Wizard. Hey, there's something on that wall.
Like graffiti?
No.
A few of
like-
the shards of glass begin lifting up from the ground themselves.
Are
You
any of
watch
us
as-
seeing this?
Yes.
Oh,
Can
okay.
I stomp on them? Can I just stand on it?
You begin
Oh, can I
stomping
just
out,
stop a glass?
stomping down this on this glass.
boots.
You watch as one of the wooden beams actually bends and cracks, snapping into two pieces as it begins rolling on the ground, coming towards into like a little pile in front of Elle as you're stomping down. What is everyone else doing here?
Blasting the pile.
All right, you begin taking blasts, firing at the pile.
I throw a chill touch at the wall.
I'm gonna need everyone to roll for initiative now that there's spells being cast. As a couple of things are gonna happen. We're gonna talk about what happens in what order because we have a Oh my goodness! Oh, Connor, I need you to put me down for a natural 20.
Cool.
Yes.
Happy for you.
That'd be down.
Oh yeah.
Not 20 or not 1?
No. Opposite.
All right, Thorn, go ahead and give me some combat music, Alex.
13.
13 for Thorn.
Lucky number.
My?
2.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
This is positive.
Is Meanie?
Math 20. Ralnor 12.
Guess I'm going last with a 10. Or second to last with a 10.
Go before the
I'm
lizard.
saying you couldn't have rolled worse than me.
That's true. I didn't roll in that one. I have a +5 though. My dex is-
Laurentius. You stand conjuring up these spells and begin firing at these bits of ruins and rubble that are on the ground as they begin to lift up, trying to form into something. Looks almost like a balled up, almost like a sphere at this point as it begins pulling in closer.
Does this remind me of that mud monster from really far back in the campaign?
Like session 1?
Yeah.
Not precisely, but give me some skill checks on your turn.
Sure.
It's actually whatever was in the wall here is going to reach out. Is Meanie and Mai, I'd say, would be able to see this pretty easily as you're currently stamping on something in the other direction. Those who gaze upon it would watch as a wooden fence, 3 camouflaged limbs emerge from the fence and are begin to swipe out. These elongated arms bursting out forward from the fence itself. It's going to go ahead and make its spectral claw attack at you. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna make these 2 claw attacks at you. Because of your passive perception, this is not we're not doing surprise. There's no advantage here. That is going to be a super miss and a 22 to hit.
Me.
Yes, 22 to hit you.
Yeah.
Thorn.
That'll hit.
One of these claws comes raking along your back, slashing into you for, oh my gosh, that's a lot of damage. That's gonna be 15 points of slashing damage, and on top of that, I didn't have a D8 out. And 5 points of psychic damage, which is just 2 for you, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah.
It strikes against you, and you watch as the hand begins pulling back. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 limbs emerging from this of varying lengths. One of them comes back into the fence and dissipates. He watches just the briefest ripple along the wooden surface, and that is going to be.
After taking that hit, I'm going to turn to someone and say, "Did I get older again?"
That is going to be Meanie's turn, and Thorn, you're on
You
deck.
just look tired.
I'm gonna chill touch the wall in case
First
they
thing you make
heal.
today.
All right, you turn about with your magics, firing at the segment of wall before you.
That's only gonna be a 12 to hit.
12 is unfortunately not going to hit. You strike at a piece of the wall itself blown out a portion of it. You see like a 6-inch radius circle just explodes out, splintering forwards. The wall seems tangible, like the wall is there.
Great.
Anything else in your turn, Meanie?
Nope.
Okay. That is then going to be Thorn's turn. Thorn, at this point, I want to go ahead and let you know that the animated these pieces of ruins before, the glass, the shards, the pieces of metal, 4 or 5 of these porcelain dolls have begun balling themselves up and begun forming a humanoid figure in the center of the street.
Cool.
What would you say?
Why did I hit the wall?
I'm gonna run up to it, casting Booming Blade, and take a swing at it.
All right, as you begin sprinting off from there, you watch as about 3, 5, 6 feet away from where you originally were struck at. You watch as another one of those claws emerges from the fence. Is going to make an attack of opportunity against you. The wall itself is going to roll a natural 1. This time you're able to duck out of the way and make your attack on this animated ruin. That's what you're fighting.
Oh wait, oh, I'm rolling too.
With the lingering bits of that magic, I will tell you, you are fighting 2 separate creatures.
Okay.
21.
21 will hit the animated ruins. You strike out against them. What would you like? What are you doing damage-wise? What you hitting me with?
Boom and blade.
All of that damage, which should be magic and thunder. All of this works normally, as far as you can tell.
Do you need it separate?
I do not.
Okay. 17 points of damage.
17 points of damage. You strike against this this creature. As you do, you see that you shatter one of these beams here. It blows backwards and pieces begin reforming, sewing itself back together as it readies itself to swing a garbagey fist at you.
How big is this creature?
This creature is a medium-sized creature, around the size of like a 5.5, 6 foot tall person.
I'm gonna shove it 10 feet.
Whoa! I will make it strength saving throw. That is going to be a 14. It's a fail.
Fail, yeah.
Flies back 10 feet. Is no longer in melee from folks.
And then I give it the raspberry. And my turn.
Excellent. That will then be the animated ruins turn. This creature here is going to begin moving, not walking, sliding along the ground, pieces of it rolling and rumbling along the cobblestone surface. You see a chunk of stone from the road actually rips off from the ground and begins moving within it. Sort of like an elemental, like you've seen those in the past. Is going to reach up and is going to make 2 slam attacks, one at Laurentius and one at El. So the 2 of you are pretty close, stamping and swinging.
Does it have reach?
The one thing I don't know how this is going to work is going to be, because you moved it after Booming Blade, I'm going to go ahead and say that the Booming, that kind of happens together, so I'll take the damage from the Booming Blade.
Okay.
I don't know rules as written how Booming Blade works.
I believe it has to
Move me.
move towards me.
It has to be voluntary movement. I thought
Yeah.
that's what Booming Blade was.
Cool.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm taking the damage.
Okay.
So there's no problem there. This is at L. Oh, shit. So the lower of the 2 rolls is at Laurentius. How much damage did I take?
5.
5 points of thunder damage. All that worked. So that is going to be a 22 to hit Laurentius,
Can't shield it.
and is going to be a natural 20 versus our dearest L.
Okay.
All right. This is a different creature here. It is going to.
And I'm gonna go ahead and plan to. Am I in melee range of it?
Yes. This is a human-sized creature.
I think I would like to deflect strikes rather than react. Do the routine.
Okay, it's 22 points of bludgeoning damage as these pieces. As it strikes you, one of those dolls fully shatters, exploding into pieces here.
Roll an 8. Roll an 8. I reduce all of it.
You reduced it by 22.
I reduced it by 24.
That's
I
horrifying.
rolled maximum. I rolled a 10.
Awesome. We love to
I
see
now
that.
don't know how to read a
Thor?
D10.
You're going to take. I'm just going to
Okay.
give him his number. 17 points of bludgeoning damage. He strikes down against you. But as it parries down, L, you chop one of these arms off to deflect it. It falls to the ground and begins reforming that little bit.
Cool.
And
I
then what
spend the
happens?
arcade point.
So the arcade. You want to hit me back?
Yes. So redirect the attack to. Oh, it has to be to a different creature. I don't think I could redirect it back.
No, I don't believe you can't redirect it. It doesn't stab itself.
Yeah, and I have no way to redirect it to the other creature, do I?
Right, it is not. It is currently sitting in the middle of the street.
I'll
The
keep my
street's
ar-
about 15, 20
I'll
feet
keep
wide.
my arcade point.
Keep your arcane point. We'll see it later.
Maybe.
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 All right. It is then as a bonus action on its turn. It explodes. You watch as it falls to the ground, collapsing into its demise as it turns into countless shards and pieces on the ground, scattering in about a 15-foot 15-foot cube around it as it bursts into pieces here. I'm going to need a dexterity saving throw from both L and Thorn.
I'll take it.
Thorn?
19.
Pass.
19.
Pass. Neither of you are knocked prone, but you watch as the creature bursts again in like a 15-foot cube. The ground is covered in debris. That is the end of its turn. We'll continue on to Ralnor. What would Ralnor like to do?
Ralnor is gonna go attack the wall because I think I'm not understanding what's going on at the wall, so I definitely can't tell Ralnor what's going on at the wall.
Cool. Ralnor saw where it attacked from last. Go ahead, Ralnor. Are his attacks magic?
Yes.
Sweet. Ralnor dives forward to bite it where it last came at you from.
12, 16, 24.
24 hits. And it does work. Give me that damage.
16 doesn't hit.
16 does not hit.
9. Slash.
9 points against the horror in the walls. And that damage does seem to be going through here. For a moment, as it strikes, Ralnor actually hits at the point of the wall and begins pulling one of the limbs, sinking his teeth through it before that the limb itself poofs, dissipating, writhing as it does into like this smoky ash. And then it pulls back into the wall itself.
Okay.
That's Ralnor.
Okay, that is Ralnor. We're going to continue on to Elle, then Mai. Elle, what do you have for me?
For my check for my turn, can I get a sense of whether I think the creature that was the debris monster will return?
Give me an Arcana check, see if you can figure out what's going on. This is clearly magic. There's no ambiguity here.
25.
25 points. 25 points. 25 on Arcana check. That is going to be success here. What you are facing, there's a couple of ways. You can't know just in the first glance what made it, but this could be natural. It could be a spell. It could be a monster. You're not sure, but what you're facing is a magic that is binding these objects together. It probably just dropped it. It's probably still present, and there might even be some ways to hurt it, though how is not obvious. What I will say, because of how high you rolled, is that you would be confident that well scattered like this, normal attacks like breaking one piece won't probably have an effect. You need to affect a lot of it.
Okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to hold an action and guarantee I'll be able to do something this turn. So I'd like to go and attempt to, yes? Unless I think I can? Okay. I would like to go and try to help Ralnor, and I'm going to whack them all.
All right. As you move, you are not attacked by the ground.
Cool. I'm going to weapon burst with radiant damage. Seems like a good idea in Evil Land.
Okay,
And
radiant damage.
twice.
All right, go ahead. AC is 16 on the
Nope.
the wall.
Pull out the
I'm so sorry, Victoria. I messed up and got my. I was wrong about what I said before. No, I was right before. It is a 17 armor class on the wall. It's a 16 armor class on the animated ruins.
So I will swing the unnamed. I forgot my rapier's sword until now. At it. Wow. Okay. A 29 and a 28.
Okay, those are both gonna hit. Jeez.
Do you anything weird with radiant damage?
Nope.
Or pierce? Okay.
Is the weapon magical?
Yes, +1 weapon. Okay. Forged it myself.
Make sure you got what you're ready for. Great.
Sorry, 20, 25, 31.
31 points of damage. A huge hit. You slash through the wall. As you do for the briefest moment, there's this rapidly vibrating bit of smoky mist that almost matches the fog of Dunsmith itself in that gap between the pieces of fences you just damaged. And it dissipates. You see the wall shift, ebb and flow slightly as the creature reorients itself, no longer occupying this tiny sliver where your sword hit. You clearly hurt it, and badly. Anything else?
That's it. Action.
Okay, we're
bonus,
gonna keep
action
on
bonus.
going. It's gonna be Mai's turn.
Can anything within a 30-foot radius of me make a con save? Anything hostile? As radiant light spews forth from me?
It can't be targeted by spells or attacks, but it can be affected by things that. I think this is it Sacred Flame?
No, this is my radiance of the dawn. I'm bursting out in light.
Oh yeah, an explosion. Explosion is exactly what I'm looking for. You can hit both creatures. It's con saves.
Con saves.
All right, the horror in the walls is going to fail under a 10, and the animated ruins also fails under a 10.
16 points of radiant damage.
Oh no! That is a lot of damage. Neither of them seemed to like that very much. You see the pieces on the ground recoil, some of them reflexively pulling back. You actually, instead of the 15-foot cube, it's like a 15 by 10 as some of it pulls back from you. Injured, clearly. You see some of the pieces burn up. Others just fall inert on the ground as some of them still move and writhe on the ground. Creature still is present in some way, but has been hurt by that.
Does the fog also go away?
Fog
Can we
does
see?
get pushed back quite a bit as you do this. And doesn't that maintain? Is that a one-time burst?
I think it maintains. Magical darkness is a spell.
Okay.
So it's just a
Sure.
burst. But
Perfect. We're going to continue. It is now the walls' turn. The horror in the walls. Not liking what's going on. I'm going to roll evens odds, actually. Evens odds. Evens. Laurentius. Connor, I got your number today. it
22?
seems. 26.
Oh, okay.
These guys have made a bunch of attacks, but this one has been rolling a lot of 19s and 20s on this one. It's going to make one Spectral Claw attack at you. But this Spectral Claw attack is going to do, first things first, that is going to be 12 points of slashing damage, 8 points of psychic damage, and everyone, you watch as Laurentius's arm is slashed into these 3 human-like fingers diving into his shoulder as he's pulled into the fence partially, to the point where everything up, like all of his arm up to his shoulder, is out of line of sight. Laurentius, this hurts incredibly badly. You no longer, like, except for pain, you don't feel your left arm. You've got your sword arm still available, and you are considered grappled.
Cool.
Is his coat getting torn?
You don't know.
It's magical.
That is the end of the wall's turn. It says Meanie, and then it's Thorn. Is Meanie, your buddy is in trouble.
Is this a creature that I can see and target with spells?
The wall, yes.
Great.
It's shifting and gurgling
Can the
around.
wall make
where
me
his
a
arm is.
wisdom saving throw?
Oh no! Yes, it's not very wise. 15?
Ding dong.
Ding,
17
ding,
points
ding.
of damage.
17 points of damage.
Necrotic damage.
It's a 12.
I rolled
Yeah.
12.
Yeah.
Let me do
Necrotic
12.
damage?
Yeah.
I was like, you
Nothing
had to have rolled high.
happens.
Okay.
It is
It's so
immune
rare.
to necrotic damage.
I had to try.
No, it was a reasonable check. That will continue on to Thorn. Thorn, you are currently grappled. You can try to break free. The grapple as an action. You can attack. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna attack. I'm gonna
Here I go swinging again.
I'm gonna take flip my sword around, put it against the wall, and cast Psionic Blast on the wall.
Thorn,
I need
does
a
this deal
deck-
psychic damage?
It's force damage.
Okay. So tell me what I need to do.
You mean make a deck save?
I automatically fail this.
Cool.
I am currently grappling you, and I am a wall.
All right, I'll roll my die.
I was going to feel so bad.
Oh, I assume it's immune to psychic as well.
Yeah, I've tipped my hand. It's immune to psychic damage.
Necrotic and psychic.
Really sort of like spooky, go radiant.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Radiant
probably go
and Force
fire.
are the least resistant damage types.
Yeah. Cold is my flavor fight damage.
Lightning's your favorite, though.
Lightning's my favorite.
23 points of force damage.
23 points of force damage. You see that so much of this wall has begun shattering and being damaged here. There's a rippling effect around your arm. The fence itself is probably about yay thick at its thinnest point, and where there are the larger like studs, essentially, it's quite a bit bigger. Thorn, your arm is through one of those like larger studs, but you can see through the cracks now. The rest of your arm is still there. You can move your fingers, though it's a strange, distant feeling right now while it's here.
Can I bonus action Quicken Spell and Booming Blade?
Yeah, you absolutely can.
Cool.
You shatter most of this fence here, pull it back, and then strike against it. This resonating, powerful attack.
Oh wait,
17.
17. Never mind. Don't wait.
Okay, you strike against it, and you feel the creature kind of move slightly. Pieces of the wood flying out of the way, but you're not hurting the creature.
Cool.
That is then going to be the Ruin's turn. At this point, it's going to use a bonus action to reform into a creature once more.
Buddy.
Slightly smaller than it was before. You are very close to it. Who's up with me? You.
Ralmor.
It's yeah.
Round north by the fence.
I'm just gonna.
That's me.
I'm gonna.
Around
Hit,
by the wall.
I'm gonna
That's me.
attack L.
Yay!
Yeah, I'm gonna swing at L twice.
Twice?
15 and a 13.
You have to hit me so I can do cool
It
things.
begins swinging 1, swinging 2, but that's gonna be it for its turn. You reach at this point. You see it takes its arms and they go wide as they begin merging into like a hula hoop style around you. It's not able to grasp yet, but it looks like it's trying to grab or consume you in some way. Next turn.
Okay.
That will then be Ralnor's turn, then L. Victoria, what do you want to do for Ralnor? Is he biting the wall?
Biting the wall.
I don't appreciate it.
So that won't hit an 18 and a 28.
Those two will both hit. Ralnor furiously trying to free his dear friend Laurentius.
24 points of magical damage.
24 points of damage, and he doesn't even bite Laurentius's shoes. Let me see how much damage this is. 24.
I rolled 2 6s and he's got +6 with attacks. So that was convenient.
Okay. Anything else on Rowler's turn?
That's all you
As
can
he
do.
does, Rowler ripping these pieces through. Laurentius, you're able to pull your arm free and are no
Yay.
longer considered a grapple. You can see this shimmering mist as the creature, mostly exposed because the wall itself that it was hiding on has been so heavily damaged here. Appears that it's on death's door. Its weakness is exposed here. That will then be that was Rowler. So L's turn, then mine.
My best friend's back, so I have to go dance.
It looks like it's about to surround you with it. What does it want to do? What
Love
do you
it.
want to do?
I do love lightning damage, is the thing.
You do.
So it's been a hot second, and this thing isn't wearing metal, but I would like to swing around and whack it. I can't get advantage, but that's okay.
Are you doing the thing?
Yeah, I'm going to imbue Shocking Grasp.
You forgot for a second. Okay.
I almost said Lightning Alert, and I was like, that's not
You
right.
spin in place, and as you do, your blade moves so blindly fast, it flashes with lightning as you strike against it. Kind of like it's going with the hula hoop. You're doing a spin attack. Let's be honest.
Well,
Everyone knows about Delilah's famous blade maneuver, where she
Yeah,
just
okay.
explodes until.
I love that spell.
Spinning once,
So good.
spinning twice.
Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and. Can I roll both swings?
Yes.
Is that alright?
AC 16.
What?
Wow, only one
I don't
hit.
think I ever said
You rolled a 2 and a 4. It looked
A
like.
2 and a 7.
Okay. Wow.
2 and then 2. Need lightning separate.
I don't.
It's a sword AoE.
Nice.
7, 9, 15.
15 points of damage. The creature does not, in fact, look like it is quite defeated yet. You break some of these pieces out, and yet the ring now just begins to expand around you, now forming like almost a half dome over your head.
It's a dome?
It's like a humanoid creature. It's just arms are now becoming this big like dome over you. It's trying to surround you.
I'll take the AOO. I take a step
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, this is a flavor dome. I can't
Yeah.
do things not on my turn.
I was like, wait.
I will take an
Only over my
I will
head.
take the attack of opportunity for sure. That's gonna be an 18 to hit.
No.
Yeah, that doesn't hit. Okay. You able to pull back from it, get some space, get ready for it. That'll be Mai's turn.
I'm gonna ask the wall to make a dex save, please.
I failed the dex save.
Sacred Flame.
Okay. Asking walls to make dex
16
saves.
points of radiant damage.
16 points of radiant damage. The creature exposed this hissing mist. There's no true form to it. The limbs themselves occasionally flailing out, and you see the humanoid features of them. But what the true form of it? There's this gross mist and gray material here. Explodes with radiant light. A wail as it fades away. Into nothingness, and the horror in the walls is defeated. That will. Anything else, Mai? No. That will be the wall's turn. Who is dead is Meanie.
Am I still stuck in the wall?
No, you pulled your arm out when Rowler saved you.
Cool.
You were fully free. Is Meanie? That's you. You guys are all kind of together, aren't you?
Yeah.
Or clunk.
The wall didn't take necrotic damage, but I don't know if the construct can take necrotic damage or not.
You don't know that. You can make an Arcana check if you want
I'll
to
make
know.
an Arcana check.
Sure.
I feel like a construct wouldn't, but that's just me metagaming.
13.
13. You're not sure.
14. I'm not sure.
14. You're not sure.
Cool. I'll chill touch it. Why not?
16 to hit.
Hits.
Great. It does not resist necrotic damage.
10.
10 points of damage. The ruins are looking quite damaged. They're getting close to their last legs. Wonder if I'll get another turn. Thorn, it's you, and then it's the ruins.
I'm just gonna Eldritch Blast it from where I'm at.
All right, channeling these powers. You fire 1, fire 2. 16 to hit.
Yeah, they both hit. 18 and a 22.
30.
28 points of damage.
Sorry, I'm doing math.
I rolled an 8 and a 10 on my die. That's fun.
It is on death's door.
Damn.
The creature pulling backwards. You watch as you shatter. It almost shatters into 1,000 pieces. As it pulls back, you watch as the carriage from behind it begins pulling into it. It forms larger and larger, grabbing every bit of spare material it can. Some of the fencing material rolling into it as this creature forged of raw telekinetic strength lifts these objects here. And on its turn, it's going to use Scattershot. I need the entire party to make me a dex save. as it explodes. You watch as in a cone in front of it, it bursts, hurling these materials it's been imbuing itself with, and giving its telekinetic force some brief form. You see, similar to before, this time with more of this violet energy, this faint mist revealed as it releases all its stored material here. The DC is 15, so tell me passes and fails. Thorn.
Fail.
Pass.
Pass. Is Meanie?
A 13 and a 30.
Both of those are fails.
I
L?
passed, but just barely, and that's dice vanished.
I rolled a 4.
I rolled a 15.
I rolled a 7 on the die, and Dex is the one thing I'm good at.
All right, for those of you who failed, you take 52 points of bludgeoning damage as this creature explodes outwards, revealing faintly this tiny-sized pink misty form. It's roughly about this big.
52?
52 points of bludgeoning damage. This is
Half
non-magical.
Half for those who
So-
passed.
Half for those who passed.
52.
Additionally, those of you who failed are knocked prone.
Should be 26, right?
Yes.
I just can't subtract 26 from 81.
Yeah.
All right, and that is going to be Ralnor's turn. Ralnor should be fine, right?
Rowler's fine.
That's not a melee attack.
Thorn's not fine.
We're gonna go bite the thing. 15. Oh. 15, 18, 21.
2 of those hit. The 15 doesn't hit.
Okay, so that'll be
Oh my gosh.
9, 10, 22.
I need to ask you a question before I narrate how this looks. Have you trained Ralnor not to eat things that are trying to kill him?
I've done my best.
Oh, shoot. That means...
You tell me what happens when Ralnor is trying to bite this spirit to death. This construct of pure telekinetic force.
So,
Tell me.
I think
It's
he's
your
just
choice.
grasping at air, honestly. Like, chomping at nothingness.
Dog's trying to, like,
You
bite.
You watch him leap
You see,
fully
like, jaw
6 feet in the
opening.
air.
He chomps and
s-
horns
Chomp.
it.
You watch as two small bits of pink mist burst out in either direction. This essence slowly, like leaves in the wind, descending down to the ground and hits the ground and swallows a fair bit of that creature.
Good job, Ralmar.
The city is calm once more.
Maya's gonna reach out to Thorn and heal you for
What if he levels up like Thorn does?
8 points.
8 points. All right.
Ralmar and I are hurt.
I'm gonna hand you a medium-sized potion of healing.
All right.
Can I? I can't help,
Rest.
but I don't need help,
That's-
so I'm fine.
44 is
Medium?
medium?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, 44 plus 4.
Plus 4. Okay.
It's 2, 4, 8, 10.
Right,
And
yeah.
the 10's not 10 plus 10.
I have a pencil.
I got beef with the biggest potion. It's my cat. You begin to heal up, making your way further into the city. We're gonna take a brief break, go get some more drinks, and when we come back, maybe we'll meet with the PAX people. I'm sure that the orcs will be more than willing to help you all with no argument.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, everybody. I do love at the end of fights sometimes just scribbling things out.
I like taking 52 points of damage at the end of a fight.
I love taking 52 points of damage at the end of a fight.
I love taking 26 points of damage because I'm
Guys,
dexterous.
put it this way: it was 8d8
I'm down to
bludgeoning,
42.
and I rolled
Round
pretty
42.
well.
That's
You
pretty
got down to
good.
42?
Yeah.
Yeah.
64 max.
11.
We've definitely had some shitty fireballs at our table
Yeah.
with like tons of d8s.
But we're gonna be right back. Stay right there,
18.
and we'll see you back in Dunsmith in just a couple minutes. All right, everybody, welcome back. Kind of push forward, continuing kind of nursing your wounds here. Now you have an option. I want to give you because I don't want to force you into something. If you'd like, you can try to find a place to stop, hide, and take a quick short rest. The stakes of that, mechanically speaking, are you can do that, though know that you're going to get I'm going to give you a small chance for an encounter to occur. Or you can try to push forward and make your way to the orc encampment. It is close. You think you could get there safely, but how safe you'll be once you're there is uncertain. I want you as the party to get to decide. You have magic items. You have spells if you want to use those for that instead.
I'm relatively uninjured. I don't mind leading. I know you know where we're going.
If we have to do single combat,
I'm out.
I'm gonna be spectating.
I'm actually pretty good, but I don't.
I'm pretty good too.
Okay.
I think we should risk pushing forward.
Eleanor is nearly
Maybe-
bloodied and I am bloodied.
Maybe
No, I'm
we
not bloodied.
sandwich our squishies.
We
Yeah.
got
I'll be in the back. You be in the front.
we got
Yeah.
potions too,
Yeah.
if you need it.
If we need anything, I'll just start chugging during combat.
There you go.
Force
Bonus
feeding
action.
Eleanor.
You pull out a key.
Yeah.
I thought there's non-magical damage. Isn't he immune to
Just open up an
non-magical
IV.
damage?
No. What kind of...
Walking around with
So
it.
I was saying it was non-magical.
We should get one of those
Roundlord didn't take any damage from that last ability.
Oh, shit.
Because it was non-magical bludgeoning damage.
Helmets.
Never mind, I'm not
Potion
worried anymore.
check.
Ralnor's fine.
He just threw pieces of a building at
Crossed
you.
out beer potion.
So Roundlord sits here. You can see that Roundlord seems genuinely like, you guys...
These two are troublemakers.
I'm sorry. You know those hats? that
The
have beers?
beer helmets. Cross out the
Those
beer.
galleries with peanuts in them.
Put potion.
Just 2 potion bottles.
Just sip it.
It's just
All right, no, that's pretty hilarious, actually.
like we've been cracking up over it for like 2 minutes.
Okay,
Uh,
you all make your way out. Roundlord's still licking his lizard. Lizards don't have lips, but whatever.
Wait, that would have to be bonus action to sit from that.
Yes. Roundlord seems pretty content after having eaten a part of raw magical energy. He seemed to like that quite a bit.
That
Maybe
tracks.
he'll grow again.
I just
Roundlord
thought of
explodes.
something else I'll have to share later. I'll write it down.
So we're not taking a stop?
No.
Any more resources we need to expend before I continue narration?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Maya's in the back. Elle's in the front. The two squishy people are in the
Ralnor's
center.
standing right next to me.
Through the fog, you begin seeing a trio of these orange like ovals of light in the distance, and it becomes more clear as you approach that here is the Pax settlement, the Orcish settlement that has been established. This sort of stronghold in the middle of the city. There is a wooden palisade, this wooden wall that has been set up on the front side. There is a clear gate. The gate itself seems disjointed, not quite the same height as the wall, like it was actually torn off of a structure somewhere and brought here. There is a small. There's not. It's not like wrought iron spokes, but it's this iron gate with 3 small view holes through it, wide enough for someone to see or fire an arrow through. However, at the top, you see that there is an orc who you can see from like shoulder up, who is standing partially obscured by the wall itself, and the lights from before were torches that are mounted just inside of the wall on the other side from you, but the flame is coming up above.
Stop! I do not know your faces.
The Orcish man, kind of spitting out these words, you see one tusk pushing out from his gums on one side. On the other side of his face, you see a shattered remnant of a tooth, grayed out eye, and a large scar along the other side.
What business do you have with the Pax?
We come to seek audience with Pertinax.
It is dangerous times.
We made a dangerous journey to be here.
It's true. And the speaker is no coward. He will speak with those who have come.
It gazes at each one of you real quick. Doran, can you make me a quick persuasion check? Everyone's so excited Connor decided to speak.
We're like charisma.
It's so good. 25.
Nice.
Doesn't feel nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels good.
You will be watched. Do not be foolish with weapons or beast.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say just don't be foolish.
Ralnor was
Ralnar bites a piece of like scrap iron on the ground. Hey, look, it's the original source of Ralnor inspiration.
Thank you for the wet hand.
The orc looks down and nods as you see. Now, as the gate begins getting drug open, it is these. There are these two orcs, a man and a woman, who are just pulling muscles like rippling as they just are dragging this heavy iron gate to the side. It's very clear to you guys.
Diet.
This would be something that would take more than just one action to like open the door, just for if you need to get away quickly. Not a great method.
How high is the wall?
Entrance. The wall itself, 9 feet, shy of 10. Yes, you can get over. But do know the top of it has sharpened spokes on it. If you do so in a hurry and you did poorly, it would be very, very dangerous.
Don't worry, guys. I have an escape route.
They allow.
So do I.
The orcs allow you entrance here, and as they're kind
Plus
of
one.
as you begin walking in, the two orcs at the gate begin pushing the gate closed behind you. The iron shredding the bit of stone before you. You're now in a market square. You can see these stalls a bit neglected from disuse over time, with a few orcs who are wandering in small clusters between a few of these structures. You see these granaries, these slightly lifted house-like structures that have been made up for lodgings for the orcs here. And you do see very quickly and familiarly, dangling along the outside of the walls themselves, are these tightly knit bundles of what look to be herbs. These are wards of some kind. The wall itself appears to have some sort of magical ward has been established here. It's quite familiar to you from what you've seen in the recent past.
What's the fog like in here?
The fog like here is not terribly dense, not nearly as much as it was on the outside, but it does not appear to have been dissipated entirely, so they're imperfect.
Does it
Answer your
seem
question.
somewhat dimmer around the things where we can...
Hydration.
Hydration!
Oh my god.
Thanks, Gio. You said somewhat dimmer. What were you asking? Someone
Is
said
the
dimmer.
fog somewhat thinner or dissipated?
Yes, that was
Closer-
what-
Like, we can make the close correlation with it is the word since working.
Yes, as Amanda was asking here. Yeah, clearly the wards are protecting this intersection.
I just didn't know if it had a effect more strongly correlated with the object themselves more than the wards.
The ward is
But that might be
explicitly over an
splitting hairs,
area.
yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
It's actually the power of belief that's keeping the monsters out.
You see this older orcish woman begins kind of striding up. You see her armor, her attire here is sort of this long skirt reinforced with these thin segments of iron plate, a couple of chain segments, and another iron plate that kind of dangle. For her top, she has this sort of long metal band that stretches from one shoulder to her opposite hip, protecting a good portion of it, of her torso here. There is this spiked chain bound up like a whip on one of her sides, and on her offhand, with her on her unarmored side, is a spiked gauntlet. She steps up closer. The gatekeeper gestured. You've come to speak.
Yes.
Begins looking all of you over. Very well. This way. She turns, trotting along. You do notice she does not wear shoes. She's armored most of her body, but does not wear shoes where she's at. You see there's less vivid. She still bears a bit of vivid green skin. Her feet are ashen and gray here, as if the color was drained from them. Why have you come here? You do not look like those who hide in the library.
We're actually here to bolster the ranks of the library, and we're here to discuss with Pertinax.
Oh? And how could we bolster those ranks?
By joining them.
Yes, join them. You mean to break bread?
We're
Feast with them?
Fight alongside them.
trying to
You
fix
come
things.
for us to fight them. Again and again they ask.
Pertinax! She calls out to one of these structures. This one here, clearly a former shop. A shop that would have been opulent at the time in Dunsmith. you've been here. It's hard for you to place. This was like they sold like fine clothing here. The merchant here, fat and happy.
I think this was a lush.
It's not long before a man begins stepping out, and her tongue switches quickly into Orcish. She begins barking out. You hear her call out to him. I'll take an insight set check if someone wants to try to interpret tone in another tongue. I'll say disadvantage if you'd like to make this check.
Damn, I don't speak orc.
I would love to try.
I would like to try.
Great. I'm gonna. Yeah.
You don't have to all try.
Mark me down
Actually-
for that one.
I think we're
No,
no.
good. Is that advantage?
I'll pause you at those two.
Disadvantage.
No,
Oh, gotcha.
no, Victoria was right. I was not trying to get everyone to roll dice at me.
Oh,
What was yours, Connor?
insight?
Disadvantage insight?
Oh, disadvantage.
Because you don't speak Orcish.
Okay, so it doesn't change. 16.
16. You tell that the tone doesn't shift much. There's this grunt and sigh to her that is disappointment, maybe anger or ire. And her body language, she stands up taller when Pertinax steps out. And you gotta turn to see this man. You see he's clad in full plate, a high neck guard, keep forcing his chin from going too low to gaze out upon you. Instead, his eyes furrowed as he stares at the defiant smiles. You see that this person has in his long curved axe that has been mounted up on his back, the handle itself jutting out from his wide shoulders. And on the other side, you see there is a long belt that drapes down from hip just past the knee, covered in daggers.
It's fun.
So, more of you sent to convince my men to go fight and die. To go to war for your efforts.
And yours. You're just as trapped here as the other refugees.
Despite what the bitch queen of the sea would say, all storms end.
You think you can wait it out before?
The end?
It's only growing worse.
And what would you have me do with these people?
He gestures out, and you see there's probably 3 or 4 times more orcs here than there were at the structure you were at with the library here. You see people, there's a group of folks who are tending to, they're repairing bits of clothing and cloth. There are others, you hear in the distance the sound hammer on steel as someone's working on this.
What is it you wish for us to do?
Work together to help everyone escape.
Illithids and mind flayers are just as long-lived as the rest of us.
I think everyone in the current state of Dunsmith should see to it to work together to maybe try to get out of it.
How?
The black powder.
Close the rift. Close off the tunnels.
His eyes narrow as you say the word rift.
You speak of black powder. I do not know of this.
It's only poison. We've heard someone's lost in some of the tunnels, and we certainly don't have the manpower to go retrieve it. But it's only poisonous.
No, the two
What?
things.
Black powder's called black powder's gunpowder.
Black powder is the gunpowder.
Then what's the thing that's poisonous?
Blue
only to the
powder.
thing? Blue powder.
What? Oh,
Then what's the thing that's only poisonous to the?
from last week? 'Cause that wasn't this week at all.
No, the
Taylor
Taylor's
thought some little
powder
that
is
she
blue
can
powder,
poison
yeah.
the worms with.
No,
I said,
black-
where do we get powder?
black
I said
powder's
it's
to
lost in the tunnels.
blow
Sorry.
up the
Oh.
tunnels.
Black powder is a word that means gunpowder. It's an
No,
explosive to blow the tunnels.
What
Yeah.
happened was the black powder was put into the tunnels on accident because the drow took it. Taylor had the blue powder that the illithid Seraphomorphous people don't like. So what the idea was make a bomb, and Taylor said, we don't have any black powder, it's in the tunnels.
They were
bomb.
going to blow the cavern,
Right.
and the cavern got abandoned near the
When
cavern.
you suggested that we make bombs
When I
out of the
suggested we
blue
make a bomb.
powder, it was that they don't have gunpowder to actually make them into bombs.
Yeah.
Well, it's literally they just need to go there and light fire. Black powder is a bomb innately.
Right, no, what I'm saying
will
what
explode.
I'm saying was the idea from
Yeah.
earlier that was pitched was take the blue powder and
make it into a
gunpowder
bomb.
and make a bomb.
To
Interesting. Sorry, I didn't catch at any point. That was just a test to see if someone was infected. I didn't mean it as anything more than that. My apologies.
it can't be weaponized.
Maybe it would just require
It's fine.
some
A lot
alchemy.
of it.
No, I just
We can't do
misunderstood.
that. We'll just blow up the tunnels.
You
Doesn't matter.
you have several really smart people. It's totally possible. I just didn't realize that's what you're doing.
Yeah, several really smart people.
Hey, nose
This
goes.
area.
I'm very wise.
You have to be able to roll well.
Have you seen my rolls?
Today's a fluke.
People are better at rolling against you.
Yeah, seriously.
You'd have my men and women take up arms, go to retrieve this black powder.
I mean, they wouldn't go alone.
And the rest grab spears and axe, defend these walls, patrol these streets, guard the caravan that would be required for this, yes?
It only
Yeah.
makes sense to band together instead of splitting the meager resources that this region has for you to use.
Yeah.
You ask me to take these men and women, to take up arms, to break the oath my people swear.
Don't your people swear an oath of protection as well?
You have spoken only of my mighty, of those who would be able to fight to protect yours, not of the old, the infirm, the children.
You'd be able to stay in the library just as safe and inside with other people.
They'd be safe in the place that comes crawling to us, asking for our blood and offering nothing in return.
Safer in numbers.
What about the old and infirm that die in the library? Who don't have the years that you have to live and wait it out? Humans who live less than a century and...
Orcs
Real-
also live less than a century.
Oh yeah, never mind.
The Senate is far from here. I do not wish to speak for them, for only they can force us to don our helmets and go to war with these creatures.
Aren't
The
you
way of the
already
Pax
in
is-
war?
What?
Aren't you already in war? Haven't they already attacked you?
He turns over to the side towards that orcish woman.
Our seers and those with magic have been able to protect us as best we can, with what little we have.
The words will eventually fail. Your magic will fail.
The walls will break.
And then
You'll
you'll be
die.
feasted upon by the mind flayers.
You'll find that the Pax people hold walls quite well.
Walls
And things
always
that
break.
Fly? Can fly over them?
What happens when they run out of the people in the library to eat and kill? When they run through everyone else in the streets, everyone cowering in a house, hiding away, and they're still hungry. Where do you think they'll go?
Or the monster in the river that's only growing and growing as it feasts.
You see this orc go from a dark green to get a little tinge of red in his cheeks.
You ask for the impossible. You ask for the wrong. For us to fight and bleed for others when there is no war that would justify such violence.
This
I
is a
believe
war.
the Paxi people that I knew growing up in my homeland would have considered this far beyond a war.
We're not asking you.
They
for
had the
blood,
guidance
we're
of the Senate, the wisdom of the elders. We are far from the Pax lands.
Did not your original leader go to do exactly what we're requesting of you?
Lord Haywood sent us here for peace, to learn more of these southerners. It was a long journey from the high cliffs of the Pax. We are people ruled by wisdom, by champions who serve the people. Going about fighting for... He
The
Raises
people?
his arms up.
for whatever this city has done to itself.
The city didn't do this.
Can I ask you a question?
The man in that manor did this. Know this well.
So
Speak your question. And be quick about it.
I left home. But I'll tell you this. We faced against plenty of foes. But I sure as hell would rather die in the Forest of Jubilee than anywhere else. And no offense, but I would sure rather die trying to get back home than in these cobblestones. So you can cower with fear and hope your words will hold, or you can do something about it.
I will not be taunted into violence.
It's not taunting to choose agency in your own life.
What is the difference between this war you speak of and this battle that is continuing to rage every day, every night, without ceasing? How is that not a war?
You sound like Titus.
Spits on the ground.
Titus was right. You should have listened.
He was weak. He would have led our people to ruin, as you wished to do.
Is it not weak to hide behind walls, waiting for your doom?
Relying on seers.
All you're doing is biding time.
Have you seen battle, war?
I've seen many battles.
Have you watched pyres of your people burn?
I watched my whole city succumb to these things.
We sent our friend back home in a coffin.
He takes this very deep breath, sighs. His hand leans over and rests on his hip, the orc in contemplation. Laurentius, I'm going to ask once more for you to roll me persuasion. I will say that some of your friends have made some very compelling and helping arguments. You may roll this with advantage, but no, you are not making an easy check, my friend. Is everyone diving to their bicycles? God dang.
I don't have any.
1 DM inspiration. No. Don't you dare.
I gave him those dice.
I'm counting
What
it.
is the total?
29. Natural 20, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It rolled. It like was.
It was like
something low.
Lightning McQueen.
20.
I should have checked your sheets. Just to know. I try not to, though. I do genuinely, besides leveling up, I try not to look at your sheets like plan for your check abilities here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you all know that skill checks aren't on a natural 20 aren't automatic successes.
Yeah.
The man takes a step forward. Another down. Now he's on the same ground as you. He stands about a head taller than you, this full-blooded orc. Probably, or I guess you're a little bit shorter, so like 1.5 feet taller than you. Takes another.
Sorry, I was just like, how tall is this guy?
He's about 7 feet tall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a full-blooded orc, not a half-orc. Pertinax steps closer. Another. Reaches over, draws this curved axe. You watch this long, violent thing. The blade itself looking like it's wet from some sort of thin green substance running over it, glistening in the little bit of light here. He takes his axe, the flat part at the top of here, and adjusts ever so slightly a bit of your coat, revealing this purpley red stain you have. The blood.
You were wounded coming here. It was a foolish task. You were told by that red woman that we would say no.
Yeah.
We cannot fight.
Then
Don our helmets. To don our helmets in a conflict. It is no trivial thing. To seek out death rather than protecting ourselves is not something we can do lightly. But you came. Who are you, little purple man?
Laurentius Thorn. And the rest of the Defiant smiles.
You bear wounds of your own.
I'm really rough.
Ah!
A bit.
You as well.
This is Roundor. Also a defiant smile.
Yeah, he's our trash lizard. Sorry.
Sorry, he does not giggle.
It would be hilarious if Rowler giggled.
Oh, I meant the orc doesn't giggle.
No, it'd be
Rowler is
funnier.
going.
It would be hilarious if Rowler was like lizard giggles.
Jubilee is not far from the cliffs of the Pax.
Share some
It's
features.
on the other side of the Arcadian Bay. We were sent to learn of the Elzian people, of Dunsmith, its histories, bring them knowledge and protection. Perhaps Titus was right. We have failed in our charge. I will go to speak with him and the Red Woman. I can spare 30 men, and I have shelter for a few dozen of theirs. Send your message to your commander. The Pax shall offer aid and steel.
Takes one more step kind of the side, and then changes his mind on something, turns.
And orcish blood.
As he turns, you see swinging on the back of his armor, just dangling from this single leather cord, is a brutal, compared to the smooth curves of his armor, a brutal helm. He takes, ripping this leather cord, puts it on his head, and walks back into the merchant's shop.
Chiefs to me!
He calls out, and you hear the rustle of folks. You get the idea you've been dismissed here.
We need to have a conversation because I think we have different goals internally to our group.
Ignore me. It's fine.
What? No. What's up?
No. I was confused and completely wrong.
I don't want to get these people out of here. I want to solve the problem. If we get them out of here, they're going to get picked off while they leave.
This is to.
Just to protect, not to try to get them out of Dunsmith.
I think there's two things.
That's what they're trying to do. It's basically,
Yeah.
here's more soldiers to do. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Right. I don't... Because there's been some talk of, like, getting people out of the city.
That's what
Our end goal is that.
That's the end goal.
Our end goal
Yeah.
is
Right.
to
Final
but,
end.
but not before the elephants are dead.
Yes.
Yes. yeah.
if
Good.
Yeah.
for
Good.
some reason I think we came to the scenario we can't solve the problem.
Then we could try to do the other way.
Yes.
But I think that just right now...
If not A, then B.
I think the verbiage is that we're committing to we will help you in some form or fashion, regardless of what that looks like.
But eventually, everyone has to leave Dunsmith because this place has become too cursed.
I also think it's not livable.
I think, yeah, like Fiona's end goal is to get everyone out, and I think that should be
Oh, you
ours.
should
Is
see it in
to
the summer. It's
eventually
pretty
get everyone out.
It's actually
I
very
was wondering-
walkable city.
Currently summer. the end of summer.
It's summer and I'm shivering.
Did I say summer? I meant spring.
It's literally my time, and I'm suffering.
My detection of good and evil pinged a lot, and not for the good. Let me just say that.
Hey, Maya. Do you think this would happen in a world where the moonlight shone stronger?
This, yeah.
It's kind of better to think that it wouldn't, right? Though it's comforting in its own way
People might be tanner.
from the moonlight.
What is our
Still UVs,
What's our
right?
next plan? I want to keep us moving.
Let's go pick up that guy's book.
You want to make your way
Oh,
over?
yeah.
Okay, that's not a problem.
Let's
You,
go figure out if
Thorn,
it's
we're 3-4 minutes away
Yeah.
from that place.
Pick it up. Do you guys want to just chill for a sec? And then we can go get
I
the
think we
book?
should go to where the book is.
Go to the book is and then chill?
Are you saying you want to do a short rest here?
We'll go do a short rest at the book place.
It won't be under protection. You're in a safe
We
place.
should do
So
it.
we
in
should
some
do it
of
here
the
then?
worded
Okay.
ways. Yeah.
Sure. We all take a short rest. We play that little jingle that happens when you hit a save point in Final Fantasy VII.
Dun, 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 dun,
I don't
dun,
get anything
dun,
after
dun, 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 dun.
By the way, Spell Strike is the whatever. Never mind. I know
gonna-
words.
No, you just didn't
It's the
finish what we
spell
said.
magic thing. Spell Strike or Spell Breakers is spell magic.
Great.
It's not
I'm
counting.
going to spend 5 sorcery points to get my 3rd level spell back, and then I'll pop my Bloodwell ring. And I'm going to spend some hit die.
Let it us. Back at full health.
I guess we'll
You just use the one for whatchamacallit.
cantrip.
It's arcane
Oh,
point.
wow.
left.
Rough.
No, I rolled the right amount of dice.
So, each one of these is 4, or is it
You
4?
add your con to each die.
Each one. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
Short rest.
So 10, 12 plus 12, 24. 54. Spend some more.
80. Okay. 80.
Plus 12 is 21. 21. Spend 3 more. There we go. 10.
Taking a quick short rest. Arcane recovering is me or no?
I didn't use any spell slots,
Great.
so I'm not using Arcane Recovery yet.
All right, cool. I'm full up. If anyone cares.
We all care.
I only had to spend 9 of my 10 hit.
Remember that during long rest, you only get half of them back.
Yeah.
I used 4.
And you have 10 hit dice.
Yeah, 9 of 10.
Gotcha.
That's
Oh,
what I
perfect.
meant.
What we could do to help this people escape is we could send a message to Sophie saying, "Hey, the fort has been taken over by husks." We
can barely deal with the husks, though.
But the Volcar.
The Volcar. Send the Volcar to go kill the husks.
Sophia and the Volcar could probably do some work.
I mean, they do have wings.
Or at least let somebody outside the city know what's
The
going on.
Volcar are one of the most elite fighting forces in Elts. You would know they're not chumps.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
have sending prepared today.
I have it
I
prepared.
don't think you guys ever asked Sophie to fight. I don't think you guys ever sparred with Sophie.
Well,
No.
we never. Yeah,
I
and
kind
then
of
like,
got in trouble with her.
She broke up with her best friend at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some awkward tension.
We had to pick somebody, and we picked Dawn.
Yeah.
But I do think we should send a message out and say, like,
What's going
elephants
on?
I have a thing.
bad.
though. I think that technically the best people to contact might be
The princess?
the Watchers. Yeah, I knew you would say that. I also don't want to contact them. I'm just saying they're kind of good at this exact thing.
I got a man on the inside.
You did meet
Dude.
someone who you were had a quite positive interaction with. You're talking about from the Tournament of Blades, the Feast of Champions, correct, Connor?
I thought they were
Yeah.
all jerks. They bleach their hair and
Trying to
become-
There
find
was someone
him.
who approached Laurentius to give an apology for how the Defiant Smiles had been treated.
Oh yeah, I know that. I was saying that in character.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I thought that when they bleach their hair, they have to become an asshole. I knew you would get it.
Oh no. I swallowed wrong. No, God. God damn it, Clilla.
Okay, good.
Oh my God.
Sometimes I got jokes. I can't believe that one got used.
It only had like one layer, and it was good. It was funny as heck.
Sometimes you don't need a pie. Sometimes you just need a really good casserole.
But this doesn't have to happen today. You could do that tonight if you want.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
find that guy's name.
I don't want to call them. I hate them so much.
Let's think
Sure.
on who we're gonna send.
Unless we're dealing with that right now, we can kind of jump ahead to
Commander Rye.
Watcher Rye, Great Tiefling Man.
Yes.
Watch your Rye.
Took me a minute. I found it.
I don't know. Rye from.
The whiskey.
You are released from the Orcish camp,
Oh.
having been given a bit of medical treatment here. They took some time. You can see that men and women are gathering armor, and you watch. There seems to be some sort of ritual. Many of the orcs kneeling down before breaking the cord of their helmets attached to their armor. Some of them wear it on the front of their chest. With those who have like more wider helmets, and with all of them, there is a jagged, rough, savage nature to just their helms. Their armors have fine, almost elven designs on them, with swoops, curls, interlayered pieces of plate armor on some of them. Yes. It's all quite well made. These are relatively elite warriors who break this off and then wear these like roughshod, like slapped together helmets. You were able to exit, seemingly not ignored, but this is a big moment for a lot of folks here. You hear the sounds of some of the children kind of scared, a couple of them excited. You hear older folks who are giving wisdom and caution to the younger people here. You make your way back out into the city, into the thick fog of Dunsmith.
I hated that guy. I was done with him. I didn't
Yeah.
keep arguing with him.
I respect
Which
where
one?
he's coming
You
from.
beat my DC by 2. He is a,
Pertinax.
You didn't like Birdnax?
we'll fight him in a fight club someday.
I think he seems really cool.
He's a little stuck up.
I'd like to discuss philosophy with him. Have tea.
His take on the world is wrong, and he should feel bad.
I understand his reaction.
He was incorrect about what his values are.
Pushing through this the city streets, you're able to eventually
A little blinded.
make it back on track towards the Dreaming Witch, this tavern, this inn rather. It's not a bar. This inn is not too far from here. You've seen this place before, Laurentius. You remember it a little bit, though not terribly well. But it's very clear as you approach which structure it is. You see the second story destroyed, in ruins. A couple of inner walls that still remain partially put up, but it looks like a bomb went off. There's still blackened portions of the top of the structure, like it burned at some point. Yes, Victoria.
Okay.
Yes.
This is nutty. The Lion's Paw, the Thorn in the Paw Tavern,
Mm-hmm.
and this particular tavern seem to be extraordinarily damaged. Are we seeing other buildings damaged to
There's-
this degree?
Lots of buildings here have similar damage to the top. And as a reminder, the main damage to the Lion's Paw was a perfectly circular cutout of the structure had been removed somehow.
Right.
This looks like the building was on fire and it didn't get down to the lower levels.
I also thought for a second that maybe they
They
were
were just
looking
looking
for
for
Logan.
Logan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can set things on fire and be looking for Logan.
Yeah, that could happen.
Why would you go to the
The
that one
duality
of
of
the
man,
you
you
know
know.
that one of the inns or one of the taverns? Just go blow up the taverns until you find him.
Logan's just a barkeep. I don't know.
Thorn, you're literally lying.
Thorn, you know you're wrong.
or cognitive dissonance is doing something to you.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Brother nips at your heels.
I spit on it. No, I'm just kidding.
Do you think you knew
Magic horse,
Yeah,
magic horse,
magic.
magic horse.
Unicorn.
What?
Do you think you knew your dad was magic and that's some of the memories you left?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't have anything to pull from.
I can't imagine someone having magic and never using it for 19 years.
They could
Tavern.
be using it secretly.
The tavern
Easy
seems
B cells.
the inn seems quiet, simple. There's a dusted ledger at the front. There is a very clear small vault that has been set up nearby. Looks like it's made of iron or lead. You can see this. The inside here has this dull orange paint that has been slathered all over the walls. This was a relatively nice place. It's almost like there's a motif as if it was a sunset, as small dots creeping up, and then these purpley hues as in the large main common area you see sort of this mural almost of a sunset. You hear? It's gonna be okay. Shh. There was someone close.
I kind of just gesture shh, to everyone else.
Do you want to get stealthy?
Yeah. Get
Stealth check, boyos!
Let's get
Huh?
stealthy.
With an eye, yeah.
And pass without a trace has been cast because I rolled poorly.
I have two.
I love when you do
sheets.
this for me.
This is. I will say this. This is the. We'll take it this time, but I'm gonna make you say it before anyone rolls dice next, or especially before you roll dice next
Can I
time.
go ahead and Connor get you to put down a natural 1 for Ralnorn and a natural 20 for his meeting?
Sure.
Whoa.
I'm keeping it spicy.
Wait, where's this meeting?
Also, I love when you add pass without trace.
Yeah. Oh, it's very fun.
It
It's,
makes the numbers so good.
it's such a wild spell. It's so different than everything else in 5e.
Yeah.
Okay.
I already have advantage.
I'd like to know everyone's results here.
So with Pass Without a Trace, it is 22.
23.
32 for his meanies and
His meanies
12
gone.
for Ralnor.
I was so excited, but only a mere 30. We can't all be wizards.
Ralnor, you watch Ralnor slightly trip, and someone grabs one of the spikes on his back. They're not like sharpened on the side or anything. They just have a point at the top. Grab him, stop him from like tripping over himself, and are able to sneak in here. The hushed whispers get quiet. You hear the labored breath of two humanoid figures. Like you heard common. It seems that in one of there's a larder just behind one of the bars here that leads into there's a door that leads into the larder here. Well, this doesn't have a tavern. It does have it's not a tavern. It does have a kitchen here, and you do hear. It sounds like there are two people just beyond one of these doors. It does not seem to be locked, and they do not appear to have heard you, save for someone opened the front door. What do we do? What's the plan?
Go investigate, I think.
Yeah, we just go mind our own business.
So we hear noises, but we don't see anyone.
There are two people in the larder, which is like a place for you to store food and such. It's not like they're listening. They're like quiet, occasionally whispering to each other quietly.
Okay.
Mai was able to pick them up and point them out. You guys are currently are a half circle around, outside of that door.
We can't make out what they're saying.
Give me a perception check. Now that you guys have been made aware, all you guys roll it. That's fine. Ooh, that's not bad. 17 is the number to beat.
21.
Nailed it. 21 as well.
25. Wait. Yeah, 25.
Okay. Hand me the spear. You hear the slight sounds of something grinding against the ground. Careful. Stay behind me.
Is there
The other voice. It's two male voices that you hear inside.
is
Do
there
they sound young?
an accent?
These sound like young adults or 20s, 30s. This isn't like it doesn't sound like teenagers.
Is there an accent that we maybe recognize?
Kind of listening in to it, these sound. I'm not gonna make you roll for this. These sound like Dunsmith people.
Okay.
It's not unfamiliar. There's a sort of drawl. There is a way that there is this elongation to the S sounds to them that you're able to just kind of pick up the little subtle thing
Yeah,
to
they're
them.
saying Dunsmith. I'll go ahead and just kind of. Hey, no, we come in peace. Name is Laurentius Thorn. I'm from Dunsmith.
We don't have anything more to take.
What?
Shoot! You hear the other voice right. Hey, be careful. It sounds like someone trying to tell him to be cautious here. The first voice, a little more confident this time. Go away! We're armed, and we will fight.
We're not looking for a fight.
Good, then go!
Okay, we're just. Is this where? What's his name's room
Arthur.
is?
Arthur.
Arthur's room.
What? Who's Arthur?
He's like a kind of a wormy guy.
Blake, just open the door. No.
We have silver badges. That means
Who's
we know
that?
you.
Isn't? How many there are you are there?
5.
We're from Elts. We're here to help.
I'm from Dunsmith. The rest are from Elts.
Oh.
I know it's confusing. We're nice people, I swear.
We're in a guild and everything. We got badges.
Yeah, we're called
fighting
the
the
Defiant
shadows right now.
Smiles.
You want to go look for the book? Yeah, we're going to
You
go sneak
hear,
off for the book.
You hear the sound as he kicks the door open to the larder. It swings open harmlessly, and you see a man with a long, pointed, sharpened table leg stands. You see a human man in very simple commoner's robes, commoner's clothes, and then another man behind him who's wearing this fairly simple tunic with a nicer but very damaged vest. These look like they were probably like middle wealth here. They stand. The man stands in front of the other, holding a spear.
I come out of the shadows.
Easy there. You might get a splinter.
I'm getting so many flashbacks to Yosef.
I know you.
Yeah, told you. From
Wait,
here.
were you with them?
With who?
You're one of those singer people, aren't you?
No, we're with
Singers.
we're with the library.
The resistance.
Fiona, the Resistance.
What?
How long
Oh, those. Whispering back and forth. You're just hearing it kind of bickering, just
Wait,
briefly.
when was the last time you had a decent meal?
So are you Blake?
I am.
Okay.
And who are you?
I told you, Laurentius Thorn from Dunsmith.
Logan's boy.
That
Yeah.
usually works.
Lion's Paw. You might have been there. I might have served you a drink or two.
He's the thorn in the paw.
You.
Yeah, it's me.
He stands up. The spear still held true, though. You can see the tension slowly relieving from his shoulders. Give me a persuasion check, real quick.
Watch me fail this.
You're not Logan's boy.
18.
You made the brace.
The what?
My daughter's brace, Lenora. For her leg.
Oh my god.
I made a brace?
He's forgotten a lot of memories.
He hit his head real hard.
Yeah.
Wait, I made something? And it wasn't a drink or like
Sounds like-
eggs?
Does he not know he's magic?
No.
They set up. Oh, you're Logan's
eggs.
boy.
Yeah. But I made.
You're.
Anyway.
We came by a while back. Your father brought it by. You haven't seen her, have you? Kind of turning the two men, kind of looking over. Little young thing, gestures height-wise a little above where his hip would be.
Does this sound like anyone we saw at the library?
I'm so desperately racking my brain in this
Yeah,
moment.
thinking in this moment, no. And as she continues describing her little girl, long brown curly hair, lots of freckles. The Thorns made this little contraption with a bunch of metal for her knee so she could walk.
Okay.
Crippled little girl.
At this point, Peter stands up from behind.
Fucking Tim.
You, if you don't even remember, you must be helping a lot of people. Hey, I'm so sorry. We didn't mean to. The people in the white robes.
Yeah, but
They took our Lenora.
oh no
Motivation.
motivation.
Now we go
You
raid the
weren't
manor.
related before?
Have you seen the woman with the silver sword?
No.
The what now?
What?
The what?
We just got here.
No, silver. Silver. What kind of sword? Does she
Silver one.
throw something at you?
She.
I just think angry thoughts in Thor's direction in case he peeks in.
These two men, they're not fighters, by the way. These are like. You vaguely remember. One of these men was like a trader who like came through town pretty often and settled in a couple years back. Something. Give me an intelligence check. Let's just see if you can remember. I'll even make it history.
Doesn't matter.
Just torturing Connor.
Suck it.
I'm gonna roll something real quick.
16.
I have a guess. He settled down with someone he fell in love with.
18 on the die.
Breathe. The voice from within you beckons.
Yeah, it's kind of automatic. What?
You are broken. I am broken.
How do we fix
Let us
ourselves?
put ourselves back together.
How?
You breathe, taking in some of this energy, this gust, torrent within you, and think back. The trader passed through town. His little girl got hurt. Her leg. They had to stop. Your dad told you about her, and you built a leg brace for her.
I built a leg brace?
You.
Wait. It wasn't a collaborative effort? It was just
Your
me?
dad didn't ask you to do it. It was your dad was talking about some sad folks who came through town. It was a while back, probably 2.5 years ago.
It wasn't like a school project where
Like
like
the
you got your
goodwill of your
mom to do
fucking
it for
heart.
you.
And you didn't have with any of her.
I heard a sad story and did something to
Connor,
improve the
if
situation.
you have any corrections, if you want to tell me more about this, I didn't prep him for this, but anything else you want to tell me?
No.
Was a couple of hinges. You needed springs to help support the weight.
Wait, so was that like a one-time thing, or was it like okay, so based on my memory, did like
They never came back to get it fixed.
I make more stuff, or is that just like a one-time deal?
What'd you roll? You said a 12?
16.
The creature within you.
Breathe.
You breathe in deeply.
We are shattered, but we have not lost our luster. We can be greater again.
I'm gonna go ahead and check to see if I can give you support. I can. Go ahead and make me one more of those checks with advantage. You pull back, trying to draw upon.
You see Thorn going like,
He's having a
This is quick. I will admit this. This
Yeah.
is not.
shit.
Hang on, no, this is way too cool.
Oh, okay.
One more die. I hope if I could.
I love when players spin
It's
stuff.
it's way too cool to not let you have this moment.
It's the same thing.
Oh,
11.
DC tend to remember things. That's like,
oh, well,
yeah.
right.
This is very minor. Thorn, you think back to sitting just by the stables. You'd sometimes just set a table out, enjoy the warmth on your shoulders, get a little bit darker purple, and as you
Sunspots.
you fought against sunlight sensitivity, and well, you did. You just think back your little toolkit, your little projects. You think about fine-tuning a small prism before placing it within a tiny pyramid, tinkering about another gift.
And you didn't help Gwynwyn ever with her finger.
I didn't know.
Amanda coming in. Like, you could
Thorn.
build so many bombs.
As you're recalling this, I'm going to pull back just a little bit.
I'm dumb. I don't know.
As you sink, you kind of blink from it. Like, there's this tiny, uncomfortableness. Like, you're hurting yourself almost pulling back. And as you're falling in this thought. You see a tall mountain, more like a spire than anything else, going up and up and up. You feel your legs on the ground, looking forward. And you feel a name, the name of one residing deep within you. You feel the pain. You feel the memory of fallen brothers and sisters. You were all a tempest, a hurricane, and a maelstrom. But now you're broken. Just a vestige, just like Thorn. You are Perara. Yeah, I'll spell this because it's a big name. Perrara.
P-E-R-R.
A-R-A.
I was close.
Perara. It's Perara. As you pull back, no longer on 4 legs but 2, you're here once more in the present.
A horse. It's clearly a horse.
You remember the little girl, her
It's a
face.
selkie.
She was so sweet. You never got to. You didn't talk to her up close.
Did she keep it oiled?
Yeah, your pa gave us instructions. Sad you never came by. What were we talking about with Resistance?
Oh, we've been working with them since we showed up a couple days ago. And we're just here because somebody left their manuscript for their book in this building.
Not in Dunsmith for that. We're in Dunsmith to fix the situation.
We're in this building because somebody left
We've
their
spent most of our
manuscript.
time since it happened on the outskirts of town. The men and women in the white robes, they've attacked a few times, and the woman with the sword, she took our child, and we came into the city trying to find. I didn't know there were people fighting.
Can
The library.
you tell us what the woman with the sword? What she look like?
I hadn't seen her before. No. Oh, she. They start bickering back and forth a little bit about whether or not he's right about something. At this point, Peter.
I'd like to hear both sides.
Okay, regardless of what Blake says, no, I know she's one of them sellswords who came up here with the local lord. I've seen her face before. I remember anyone with that many freckles is a very clear memory. She's about yay tall, probably about 5'8"-ish, 5'8"-ish. Bunch of freckles, big leather, like armor. At this point, the other one interrupts. Breastplate, a reinforced leather breastplate. And she had a big gaudy piece of jewelry on, a big gold thing, big orange crystal showing off her wealth. She must be getting paid a whole bunch by whoever those bastards are.
Was there any like marking on the orange crystal?
It looked expensive.
I'm a noble woman. Have I heard of this kind of jewelry before?
The information they gave you wasn't really enough to go off of. These people don't seem to know about magic.
Human?
Yeah.
Hair color?
Dark brown, maybe black. Umber skin.
Possibly a sellsword.
I think so.
Did you hear her speak? Did you get an idea of maybe where she's from?
Sounds like she's not from town.
She grabbed our girl, hit Blake. Thought she was gonna kill us.
But she didn't.
Did you get a good look at
Took
that?
our girl. I wish she would have instead.
But here's the thing is, if she had just been a mindless killer, why take the girl? There's hope, is all I'm saying.
They got my little girl dancing around in white robes.
How long has she been gone?
About a week.
Still time.
9 days. Blake interrupts.
Did you get a good look at that sword? Maybe give us a little more detail on it.
I don't know much about swords.
Silver.
Did it
it-
look like
it,
this
like-
one? I'll pull my, the unnamed, the mythical
Ah,
rapier. Did it
not
have that kind of
exactly.
sort of weird sheen
It
to
did like a swoop around her hand. Looks
So it had a...
fancy, I guess.
Straight blade, curved,
Oh, seems straight enough, I guess.
thin, wide.
Looks like this. The blade she describes could be a longsword, or he describes be a longsword or a rapier. Mechanically speaking, hard to tell.
Cool.
These people don't unfortunately know much about the equipment, but her necklace was glowing,
Glowing.
like a torch almost.
It was orange? With
Yeah.
Gold medal?
Uh-huh.
But a silver sword?
There was only the one.
They didn't match.
Any religious pings going off in...
Give me a religion check. It's steep.
Can I try to, like brainstorm?
I'll let you roll this check with her.
11. Yeah, no.
There's just not enough information. I didn't give you. They don't know anything about like etchings or
No
words.
sickles.
15.
No. This is an incredibly hard thing to do off of such a limited description.
Okay, well,
Doesn't sound like you guys like these white robed people either.
Not at all.
we're not fans.
The library has food,
You guys are-
shelter. It's not perfect, but
Yeah, tell you
Better
what,
than-
we'll grab the thing we came here for, and then you guys want to tag along on the way back?
we'll make sure you make it there.
They look to each other. The two of them staring at each other. For a moment, you consider maybe they're telepathic, as they're clearly having this conversation.
They're
These
just that
two.
insane.
Quick.
They nod at each other. You see Blake, one hand on the sharpened table leg, the other one clasped in Peter's hand. They step fully out of the larder.
Peter,
Yeah,
would
sure.
you like something?
A dagger?
Pass him a dagger.
Sure.
Pointy
Stick
end
'em with
goes
the
in
pointy
one,
end.
sir.
Just
Yeah.
stick him with the pointy end.
Actually, yeah. Can we make sure both of them are armed? I'll hand over another dagger for I don't know what the
Blake.
other person's name is.
Blake.
Blake
Blake is
and-
slightly taller.
Blake and
Peter.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
Peter,
Like Peter Blake.
Peter Blake.
Can I look in the lager that they just came out of to see if there's any like supplies?
There are quite a bit of. There's quite a couple. There's 3 crates of salted meats still in here.
You're as a wrong person.
I'll pick up one of the crates.
You can absolutely carry one of these crates. In combat, you'd want to drop it, but
Yeah.
Really famous.
Do we need to search
actually,
around?
I could help with that. I can't imagine it'd be much of a use if I needed to use this thing, to be honest. But I can hold.
Keep it at your hip.
Carrying crates. That's
Keep it at your hip.
Yeah.
It's better to
loops it into
have
his
a
belt nervously.
Yeah, it's better to have one when you wish you did than not.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Peter
better
will go
than
ahead
you
and
did.
he can grab one of them. Couple
Have
minutes
one
of
on you if you
investigation
don't have.
doesn't take long to search through the rooms to try to find where Arthur described this. Not making you roll. It's very easy, DC 5, and there's 4 of you. It's going to take about 5-10 minutes for you to go searching through all the rooms until you find the door that is locked. Not even 5-10 minutes. You've unlocked the door, open it up. Under the bed, you find a strange sort of pouch. This sort of like dark navy pouch. Not very large. You could easily put it inside of another bag if you felt like it. The bag itself, though, is oddly heavy for its size. Probably about 15-20 pounds for this little tiny bag. But as you open it up, the opening stretches a little bit wider than it should. It's perfectly black inside. What would you like to do? What do you do as you're reaching in there, Elle?
Oh, they're actually gonna let me reach in there?
I'm not stopping you. You
What
lose
you
your
thinking
hand.
of?
That's your fault.
What?
What's in your
What you
mind?
thinking of?
Am I reaching in the bag?
If you want to. You don't have to. I'm not you.
Elle's reaching into a magical bag.
The bag itself, about this big, about 15-20 pounds, and opens up about twice as wide as it should.
Has
I
teeth.
think I'm weirdly thinking of what I wrote down in Mr. Book this morning,
Which is?
which is, I can't believe I used to complain about sleeping in a tent.
You pull out an empty hand. Nothing happens. You reach in there. It's a little bit cool, but it's not humid at all. It's fully, like, arid inside.
It doesn't like elves. Do you want to try?
I'm trying to think about what we came here for.
You pull out a stack of these pages. You can see that they're actually locked together, but there's a metal latch that connects every couple of segments, and then twine binding all of it together. This is hundreds of pages that have been stacked together of parchment. You can see that, looking at it, the writing is not in common, but a series of vertical scratch marks that are written into here.
We gained a manuscript and a racist bag.
Hey, pluses and minuses.
That's not right.
Do you think it likes you, or do you think it splits hairs?
I mean, you are only quarter, so maybe.
I'm going based off of your judgment here.
You're 3/4 human, so
Maybe it doesn't like the 1/4. Maybe it's like you gotta drop in your hair out.
Jesus.
I don't know. We'll have to test it later. Anyway,
Let's head back to the library and drop off our supplies
are we
and
gonna bring
people.
these guys to the library with us? Or we just let them do their own thing?
we're escorting.
We're good. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
They actually, Peter's holding there's 3 crates of salted meats that were in the larder still. Everything else seems to have rotted away
Yeah.
for the most part. Mai has one, Peter has one. The third one's kind of small. You could try to put it in the bag. Small little container. This much jerky is not a small amount of jerky.
I just
No.
remembering my portable whole jerky. I had cases of meat.
We had
I know.
so much
Do you want to
beer.
put
I'm gonna put the meat in
the
the
smallest,
bag.
the smallest container, almost like a chest, disappears into the bag. The bag's weight does not change.
Whoa, make it reappear.
Pull me out.
You decided it's called a bag of holding and does not require attunement. It's
Yep.
a dark navy pouch. It is smaller than the one from our previous campaign, just for my players to remember. It only has an aperture of about 1.5-ish. You could try to stretch it a little bit, but knowing that going too far could damage it.
Did anyone else see an achievement at the top of this right
Finally,
screen where he said,
no more inventory.
"Yeah,
I can't.
inventory"? No.
Inventory still can
Inventory
be a
now
problem.
becomes a sheet of paper that I
Victoria gains a new job.
I loved that job in our last campaign. That was my favorite.
Yeah,
job.
it's
I
more
had
of
it earlier
an
this
achievement
campaign.
over her
It
head.
was-
Discuss the job. We all went, Victoria's gonna keep track of the whole
I feel like you jumped at it though. Like it wasn't like an appointed
4
position.
years, we don't think it's a burden for you.
Here we go. This is the previous bag of holding journal.
All right.
Hey, for a minute.
Would we like to head back home? Is my question.
Yes.
Well, we can't get to elves.
Right. So my question is this:
so.
do you want to take the long way or the short way?
Long
Short
way.
A long way.
Long way, we
Cool.
have civilians.
Yeah, I have to ask. I don't because I want to make
No, I'm
sure
gonna
you
push
know
him in
your
the
offense.
lake.
We're
Hey,
gonna
the short way
stroll
passes by
down
the
river.
crater and over the river at the damaged bridge.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Those
push.
crates will float.
I'm
Let's
gonna
see if
push
you
Peter
do.
into the
I
lake.
feel like you'd get re-eaten.
Re-eaten?
It would be like, oh, I remember that guy.
Oh yeah, you shit me out.
Munch.
Yeah, they'd be like, I got a taste for it. Exactly. Very munch squatty.
On your way, returning back with these two Dunsmith folks, sometimes you remember just vaguely bits and pieces of these people passing by. You know that Peter was a traitor, as I mentioned before. You can't quite place at first how you know Blake. You're kind of thinking along here. I mean, maybe he works. Maybe they work together. But as you're kind of pushing through here, I need you to roll me 2 d20s and tell me the lower. Just to be clear, huh?
Can we do it?
I mean,
Yeah.
does anyone else want to do it? Does anyone else want this responsibility? Actually?
We're in Dunsmith.
Are they not lovers?
Oh no! Here. He could remember the occupation.
Oh, I was
Sorry,
like,
not everyone.
Yeah, I don't get
who's
you guys'
married worked it.
relationship.
No, they're super they've been married for a while.
Talking about their
I was
daughters.
like-
So how did you?
Did you meet after the fall of Dunsmith?
Before the fall of Dunsmith.
Am I taking
my
the
gosh,
higher or
love
the
story
lower?
after
You're
the
taking the
zombie
lower.
apocalypse.
What'd you roll?
I rolled a 19 and a 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Great porting options.
I rolled a 2. So, you don't know
The streets are calm. You continue making your way wide through the city, not going quite so far as the outskirts themselves, but making your way towards the eastern bridge here. The passage across the bridge is swift but quiet. The two of them seemingly obeying your commands to keep quiet, do not speak on the bridge itself. You hurry along. Well, you feel eyes upon you in the river. Nothing emerges. You make your way back to the city streets, maybe even taking a couple streets over to not have the river directly next to you as you make your way back towards the Harrison Library. Shattering of glass as a window long since abused has finally collapsed in the distance. Tumultuous thunder from above once more roaring through. At this point, we get closer to the center of town, but now on the opposite side. You look off to the distance, you see the crater Thorn. Now, a couple hundred feet away from you, because it's past. You're like a long intersection. You can see a ways off there. You blink. For a brief moment, you blink a couple of times. There's a flash of white light. It's confusing, and it's gone. You blink again. You know those little curlies, the worms you can get in your vision, like the little, little blink of vision. You briefly see this small squiggle of white light. You blink. It stays where it is. All four of you see in the air 3-4 inches of a arc of white light, pure and seemingly unaffected by fog or anything else nearby. It splits it at the end. 2 cracks. Another one, wider. This one's splitting, creating a small sliver of bright white light that emerges. It cracks wider still. This one arcing down towards the ground 3-4 feet briefly, and in a flash you watch as a huge section of the ground dissipates, disintegrating into naught but ash, a foot deep. That one limb of this white thing disappears into nothingness. It's now back 3-4 feet of this white crack. It begins shaking in place.
I bring
Let's
her
move.
to.
You begin pushing them
let's go.
away.
Is the sky falling?
It begins opening up wider and wider until this white rift here in the center of the streets, about a foot wide. Here, clink, clink. You look down. A pair of bones? There's a elongated bone, looks like a femur, about 4 feet long. Another bone. Another. Peter says, "What is happening right now?" It cracks open. This time it arcs into a nearby structure, which you watch as the wooden paneling on the side begins to burn. You guys can interrupt me. I'm talking.
We're just
You
running.
hide. Go hide. Or no, we're running, right? Yeah, we could just keep running towards the library.
As the bones continue to fall out here until there's a full heap of them, almost 3 foot tall pile of these large bones, one of them arcing and curving, another arcing and curving like horns scattered atop this pile. You begin running into the city, getting yourself some distance between whatever this is and what is happening here. You begin casting a spell. You watch as the rift begins shattering and shrinking, smaller, 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 leaving behind just these bones. There's still the light here. I'm not like interrupting. You can interrupt me.
Oh, I want to cast a spell on the giant pile of bones.
Oh, you've been casting a spell on what are you casting on the bones? This is allowed to happen before I get to say what happens next.
Cast fireball.
Arc.
I got spells.
I wanted the bones.
I'm sorry, you're the gold person.
I'm sorry, you think you're gonna run out of bones in the evil haunted city that we're in that is full of dead
As
people?
you shoot this ball of flame here, go ahead and write this fire. I'm going to mark this fireball down because we're going to talk about the mechanics of this in just a second here.
Yeah, I
I'm
didn't
gonna
think
do
you
this.
were gonna let me do it.
Oh no, I'm letting you do this because this damage super is going to matter for this.
Okay.
As you arc forward with flames, the bones burst over to the side, clink, 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 falling, clambering over to the side. The sky darkens. It is as if a thousand candles have all went out at once. The purple thunder above, shaking, arcing, as a bolt of lightning from above arcs downwards and strikes the ground. This purple light, hold on to the dice though. This purple light spreading, arcing between them as the bones begin pulling back into each other. You can see the still crisp energies of your fireball. I need to know that damage in a sec. Still on the bones, seemingly hampering whatever's happening. As it begins forming together this creature, taller and taller. Probably about 12 feet tall. You watch as the arcing purple lightning animating this pile of bones, crowned with a pair of incredibly long horns at the top.
We are fucked.
Roars at you. Can I have that 86 damage before we end our session here tonight? This creature roaring out, Peter and Blake scream, absolutely petrified as this foul presence from beyond the rift emerges.
Exactly half of maximum damage. 32.
32 points of damage. That's good, because now that this creature is ignited in purple lightning and fire, you're not as confident it's going to work as well anymore. And that's where we're going to stop for tonight. Thank you guys.
We killed these people. We killed these people.
Thank you for rolling a 6.
You're welcome.
I just want the gays to live.
Guys, 8 and under suck. They're not pleasant.
If you make us bury these gays, I'm going to be mad.
They are going to be mad?
You know, like the bury your gays trope.
No.
Oh, we'll talk about it another time.
Hey, as we now we're actually not going to be back for this particular campaign for 2 more weeks, because next week I'm getting together with some of my best friends to play a very special one-shot. We've got dwarves, we've got abandoned ruins, and we've got a whole lot of nonsense happening in the jungle. And so I hope you'll be joining us next Friday in Gordurin. Thank you so much. As always, we've been Stories to D4, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.